eba happy 98.9 FM so hana Ghana shia ahana ne pani nyina fiba ahana atensempate no kure ahana ebusan semu ehuhia ahana e kanokure sinukoso ejumedie ni din ene epa ho adaben o twa amana pa ho ansa da bida eno ntini ye dia ba ne esisie nyina ne edi ho komo ne yenti ase ne ebusa ho asem ne yete ase nsuso na yaboa ne ache ne nyina yasua bribi afiri mu ne ba ne se kataso mumu aso obi pese akoso dia ene yebesi yebetena ha na yesinsem no koso yakane se ne wose yakana Ghana mpanimfo ebetie no metie na sopam ene wie nso ba de adaroma yaba ho de ne mu yakọ weekend na ba na mebusa say how was your weekend? Mine was okay. Now I don't know say whether na yes adia but generally she obi say no phone say amanfo person mu kire say omo honam entiti wo mu die papa ase yade bia say me ho fa me ba say bi say ye. Is that the feeling you are getting to? My colleagues bebre that's the experience of when me chair. Generally weather ni mo yenyu pa we anka August weather pa na enya no June ade mo June mu na the time na so anesanti ewuram eno nti ena hu behia se obe prepare for the weather so that I say enkanka ne nkoda no ebi amakwan ofie ebi da so ko menye gya wo musa nhye hwom ntade a ebe ma wa konkoda ni mu. Over the weekend, they made them call hospital. Now other kids, one corner and koda bobo. Mr. Obebre, mummy and in concordano. Oh, the omu piabontin, omu kosuku, a monsheshe omuye. No nye teacher Juma. Akodano fifie no oko. Oh, her natadi shemu saying, near whether ye. Oh, so dress akodani ye. Opening the bia obetima manage ho na nkoda no na mesrem so ade ba kwa mehunu mesrem o Ghana awofo ewo mu se abrabo no mu odin obi akopesika ne ade ba yenya mre nso maye mano why wanyinsa akoda bosumi nkro de na ba wiase akoda 8 years akoda wadi 8 years eba ne sen na utimi gya ne nko ase wonko school na woko school nso a otwa major roads be me ensemu ansa na wadu school opon so a sa pepepe crossing traffic lights and at very dangerous points. Weekend the story of an 8-year-old graphic road na me ra home ho e busa mo say na when e be gya kwada 8-year-old say onantia to to ekromu anko school onunkwa o na Fritima market side obenante Fritima market abefa gbogboloshi abefa graphic road ananti mu akọ eye new town na den Tima market ho na school ni ho akoda benante Fritima market akọ school new town akoda 8 years how Nan say nano akwada yi upon school a wo ba graphic road traffic light nya adwuma wa woni mo ma atimu akwada 8 years ne reflexes nka onim hwe na adwene ni so a osi kwa ni mu a pa na nada ka sa fa no so o ma mi sum bobena abregu akoda 8 years de wugya ono nko ama ne nante sa kwantintin sen mesremu moma yenti yanini ehwe nkoda no muntini ebre se nkoda ni nti na wo soro ahemache ekokọ pesika de a ene na te wani hwe nkoda no na wo pesika na akoda be na ade ba behwe no oba na oma na wuwu a hwana na ade sesika na ba behwe no ye be sere bebre adi mu anankasa no ma na yatimu no ankasa no the state itself nani nkunkoda ho o mine ankasa we don't value even the children in the country. Yes, but so opeg o mine a wo emra a protecting koda yiye pa. Ghana is one such country. I talked to the child rights forum. We have some of the best legal regimes protecting children from all sorts of dangers and vulnerabilities. Yet, a woman will soon now shot ye tunk or JJ mupa. And that safety, and that security, and that protection. From the individual parental level, even to the state level, we don't value the safety of Nkoda. Omaya ye teamwork, you will be timid yakwada yakayaka dear pa. What an one more. We all have a duty. Momenti and in your Nkodano 98.9 FM Pamwada Benjumedie enie. Over the weekend, the NDC National Democratic Congress at the Wano campaign launch, indeed their national campaign launch. So the Northern Regional Capital Tamale Jubilee Park na Jumedie course. And your titrini and India war NDC Mudia Ubia Kopie Mu Tamale. Speeches upon speeches. Enipa bae pa. Wohe TV na kabo nipa bae pa. Nemo mono sa nipa no nye nyina na ye organic crowd from Tamale. National event inti. You would understand say party ne be boankofo anu no mo de omakọ. But then kamfua NDC are launching one campaign. The next activity ye be busa party impending for. Omobe launch manifesto dabe. Now the new patriotic party so dabe na yeti womonka. Campaign team was launched the last time. What about the campaign itself? The two parties are yet to outdoor Omo manifestos. They're changed. Now we busa se bemene de jumedie no concern mao. Did you pick up anything significant from former President John Mahama na Bibi striking Mawana? And they join us live on Facebook. We'll take aways here, dear. High points ni bini saying, low points ni bini saying. Join us live on Facebook. Esane say Jumedie live on radio and live on Facebook. Pacho he chirukwan o Facebook yedin happy 98.9. Enti join us and we say na da ye no no. Enche na yene Facebook army ye de ba be hyehyɛ so. Yakɔ weekend na ba. Ena we nso nsɛm da hɔ. Nsɛm ni bia ye dwendwen ho ena we. Emra hye badwani Emma Obuasi East. Or a civil engineer. MPP ni ma papa. Chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament. Watchro letter anakra tin bi di amane party NPP for. Asembe no ka. O se wa identify niema bia party ne eye e wa ban mu. Sa niema no se party na ntwe ne ho amfiri ho wansesa no ana wanye nsiensi a ombetimi aka breaking the 8 dia dada wo mo ho a kwakuku aten se sa niema no manyi amfiri ho a breaking the 8 na be yanyum to enya dia ebebem wa raise a number of issues concerning the leadership of Ghana. Now also Ghana economy no ya running it to say a Ponzi scheme. Ya running Ghana economy no to say a Ponzi scheme. Winning Ponzi scheme. Oh, winning Ponzi scheme. Let's go the example. Efre. What's sana Ghana economic management na kwa ye. Ya bedo sansi mu suko. Ya de betu nsani ani. Oh, you're right. Only ni adwene ana. Na measure that to me bona mahwe. Some of the key observations are why ye. Na ye de nsemo no ato nsani ani ne ye di ho nkomo na awie. And awie nso me kai was say me guest, special guest. Me ne be di ahia e wo epa ho ada benjumedie so. A former minister of power. Wano eno so na osanso ye mrashebedwani Emma Pro East constituency on the ticket of the NDC. The Honorable Dr. Kwabena Donko will be my guest this afternoon. Ono na oye eye oswafo emra Ghana ko dum somu dendendene. Nimre ni hu car powership. Nimre ena Mary Baso. And anyway, one of the issues me pese will be oya no mame. How did the NDC solve Dumso? Dr. Kwabena Donko is my guest this afternoon. Intime nyim free her join us ebedi sankomo ipa. Ya be hemra shebedwa fie na nkasa. Dodo na ehwe ni mu say a hang parliament would deliver quality parliamentary representation the Amagana for. But a lot of Ghanaians are equally disappointed. It was a hang parliament. Did we get the full benefit of a hang parliament? We see a puto. Also, Ghana is about to mine lithium. Lithium, any day, phone batteries, laptop batteries, rechargeable batteries, they share electronic gadgets. Lithium no body adaroma. When dia bro, wa maye bebre. Konfinfin mantemu se dia bubruja. Na lithium mining agreement yene Australian company are saying, is that the best for us? Sector Minister said this is a better agreement, a much improvement upon previous mining agreements. 15 years lease. Behind your what's our mining agreement, and what Ghana really stands to benefit. Pro East, NDC chances. They are bon come on. Happy 98.9 FM. You want to join us live on Facebook right about now. And then come on, yeah, the shisha swanesa. Na enchenso na eyadia yetie simuo na yene wonso akasa o messages a wedi kan ede abanyina no ye ba be kankan ni nyina ede ama. Mama menua eye mask akwaba from the weekend. Ya mask.
Bra.
Boko de.
Oh, nyame adom.
Edo bo ade ase. Ode akode aba.
Yes.
Atrenche ya.
Aja obeye ne den. Wono ankasa mfa ya nkwa mfa ya ma.
Den ne dazu.
Na say campaign launch no.
Munya bo chema amanfo hu mask aho fa no pe. Awie
Oh. Said that they ya he my mki.
Na wa kokko kakra. Na bi ga mu wa kokko kakra.
Kaji no aso asisa.
No kaji.
Say na me ko esro dino za me kan kaji kakra say be man na ko twitwa papa
mo mra Facebook me he no
edi no say jako
abi ma link ne mra wa
be za ho fe ntonam
dabi
nton preke se ponton kwam
ho fe no komodo
edi o ni hwenyi yes Ghana boxer bi was we jai ade o fanboy. Everybody knows I'm a nice guy indeed. I quit. In Oscar de la Hoya,
boxers no more.
Yes, many of them.
Holyfield is a nice guy.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Boxer be a man who
Tyson who you fair.
Yeah, Mike Tyson until. Na year they were two na
tattoo no the two anymore.
But he was nice looking.
Okay.
And
we're sure.
Yeah, Tyson is nice looking.
Okay.
Many others.
And our very own.
Zoom.
One fine
the professor.
Yes. The professor. The professor.
Everybody knows that
nobody can bury me twice. Nobody can bury me twice.
I thought you are going to be the guy.
This fight is like father and son.
Yes.
Prof, he's
a legend, true legend. Yeah, can legends man. We in the film the
whole of Africa.
Yes.
The only black African Nidin World Boxing Hall of Fame. Professor Zum Azuma Nelson of Ghana.
In fact, someone did. I can't say near the better generation we would do one.
Now we can know saying.
It was cool, yeah.
Okay.
Weekend na NDC draw nipa. NDC draw nipa pa any attention.
Yeah.
Because Oshe said the NDC sucking interest out of this weekend. No?
Yeah.
Attention bibri
Tamale.
Yeah. Na manfo nso tu kwan. As a way back somewhere Tuesday, not Tamale hosts hotels near Adinyina ya booked.
Yeah.
And it tells you the preparedness of NDC party, no? How we do elections.
That's right.
And you, like you rightly said, crowd do not know no. Crowd nationalistic in nature. And yet the Tamale and
Facebook Live, in case you missed out on some of
yes, a thick crowd.
Yeah.
So we know. And as a Ubopia, Udun Fifia, crowd at the say no. Mamma show Facebook, crowd where to say no. When one now do Fifin, now Obalet, now force Udun Fifia, or 9 Kafon.
We're sure.
Oh, yes. Political party, Mr. NDC, be say, was him. And I keep referring to that. Say the whole crowd, no. Say, oh, yes, sampling beer. Oh, force memoir. And from Monfamo, or 9 Kafon. Oh, height it is a movie there.
Tata Susa.
And
then I come back say, a beer, height in now 9 Kafon.
Oh, no, but
because who say, who Waira?
Especially in the area.
Abimeboa. Crowd with the mask.
My general shachi.
Once
so there's one kind of thing I pay it. Into another I'm generally showing me back and me. I have to find my way.
You are vertically challenged.
And also, I know
vertically challenged.
I know, I just said. For so I say obey.
Okay.
And then is it crowd management? Yeah. A person now co program be at said the NDC for ye. More motion Facebook, motion also. Where they outside?
I be fair call me.
Where outside? Where they say independent.
Yeah, my back on.
Thick crowd. We know. So for so fear chile ho. Now we as a bear ni mo ben. Any panaka stage na. And when I bring out trouble, we are vertically challenged. Because now you are challenged to go more because
what I say? But
clearly, the way I see canon the and yet.
Necessarily, we are vertically challenged.
No. But what about horizontally?
Oh, I said no when you
it is a
horizontal advantage.
Yes. And free a 2 horse crowd we know.
Yeah.
This time crampo na moving high. And is pulling numbers.
Yeah.
And it's not in buses. Said the man for kind be brinu.
Okay.
All the northern region, three northern regional, various communities. By once a call free down south. National executives, no, to do na any other regional executives, any former MPs, no, everybody, because at this point, Obia percent present AFL.
Yeah.
Because elections were NDC near. Not Udi any the good books of JMA position we never be.
And to Obiam had to be there.
Everybody.
Because
now this is what I'm talking about.
We NDC
So at this
I
point,
saw some interesting new faces on the platform.
Yes.
Faces are one time associated NDC with. I think this was the second time, but the first one, meet me a media encounter.
Okay.
Yenyaba Shamima Muslim.
Yeah.
For instance, I mean, a journalist par excellence, very neutral, very, very objective, and all of that. Why Juma, Juma, so many years. I think the first appearance was John Mohammed's media encounter, or Mervyn Peck. But and Saturday, someone here, yeah, she took time to actually also address the crowd and chanting them up and all of that, and that was quite something new for me.
Yeah.
In the visuals, and so I saw the likes of K.O. Dimo, Joyce Blessing was on stage as well. On also be shaky no more. Enti o kana na atwe madwan so say, well, say wo support to party we are. Na eba national campaign launch na woni ase na in fact obetimi akwase ba yahu a wa
be wama. At this point, if you're part of the party, now campaign the dreams are stage way.
Yeah.
Now we knew why. Count yourself out because of honor.
Mehu Tamale.
Mehu Tamale. And yet JM now person catching the eye. But other power brokers in the party. I be a do time be a lead you to something. And na omunam soa. Then they see say you are actively involved. Party no kobi koba
eno to make us some ma kwa NDC obi so campaign launch no class
we hunu party activities you hunu ase even though we show commitment.
Okay.
And yes, I tell the infirmary. Now if there's a change in hand, near Kofanaba. And that's why man for CVs near the etimika baby.
Yeah.
Now you know you've gotten so close. And so now Emma.
Yeah.
What you say? And the Osha the NDC yeah. And I know Bibi party the organization was top notch.
Ken Farouk Edifrika so said it was an organic national campaign launch crowd. Tamale was green pa change is coming from JM or say JM Beba or nona or dear no ebae. Okay, I'll be reading your messages, but near a year relevant to your topics is here na mekan. Actually no ne modi aba no so nyina be beto me bona makankan ni nyina e de aka ho e de amount. Abbas Umar say BB and Mas, good afternoon. BB, the revolution song has taken over Ghana, or say took over Ghana on Saturday. That means the aroma of the victory of John Mahama has been accepted by Ghanaians. Okay, also there or they abide Wilson entry sell here live. Ewo Osu or say NDC is coming. All right, on also the other by. Don't forget, say we na NDC aye or Tamale no more or less essete the tone and if you like the standard. Ye be susudua man for the other parties be launch campaigns. I think said the next in line expectedly would be here the new patriotic party.
It's a NDC ne only choice but to go ahead with this. Jem Badniana.
There be we know a sign language.
Okay. Wow. Okay. On the sign language, I know. Wow.
Why have you taken particular interest in that?
Oh, I just shot near a very beautiful shot with the chairman of the party.
But you are not talking about the shot. You are talking about the person in the shot.
Yeah, the person in the shot. So there was a one in Sana. And Jem Bani young, and this lady is looking young. And the Osha. Na Osha ne space ne no. Is he mobile to me? I go with his commission. Na James and a wife na no omutia konya ba akoso ana
there be omuti benta
papa well open yirenti muntimenka na general nete ho no
general
and wow general de nan ho kanin kan ho
there be
okay
say ho de obi as de ho kan betran de anka be asem former president pe and
otimide ne ho kan ba and in fact, the NDC didn't have a choice but to go ahead with this high standard quality organization and everything that has to do with the national campaign launch.
Okay.
Because where MPP for the Omuye is a signal. Say, oh, and then make people take you serious. It will hear said you organizing and said northern part.
Obekase ne MPP ye omo outdoor na pono. And no set standard na the NDC had to do something.
It was huge,
monumental.
Yeah, bigger than that. Because I know there and ultimately take anything away.
But show numbers. It's your national campaign. Launch. So obey.
Because numbers at this point, especially when it will be a free baby, any big deal. But you don't expect your mama. So obey Jana baby with the lies of Zedin Katia, with the lies of and will be you see now there's this NDC BB is so more it's interesting. In recent past,
okay.
Me share you were John Mahama. And said here on the former minority leader. Esi country pay more BBC. Na me debesi here Debbie obeka say ya wo kazemi.
There is
BBC. Said here omusi kan omuti pem. Na me say eyidi photo we to ho. Na o hwa there.
Former minority leader.
Yes.
And John Mahama channel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Abi, can you take us there?
Yeah. BB AC party.
Okay.
Nah.
We are picture way now.
Yes, this beautiful picture.
By Facebook, we're here.
This
picture way now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This.
And then
do you feel the language?
Of course.
The body language of the two.
There is. Who say omuntemo go pa. Who say the rumors.
The respect.
Yes, the rumors is between John Mahama and Haruna Idrisu. Omuntemo gono. This picture speaks volumes.
Yes.
But
not only this.
Omusubaka say could be for the cameras.
Yeah, good one. Where picture when you stage no.
Baby. Before the mountain stage.
Exactly. It is a stage no so. Stage no so.
Where stage no so?
Where stage no so?
Yes, because who say
okay, so you see the cameraman
Haruna Idrisu and they introduce John Mahama to speak.
Exactly.
And me hunu sad there no. I asked myself, sir, is the NDC deliberately sending a message with sa arrangement na? Because within the party and outside the party, there is rumors, sir, impenufomia nui entemon go. Emma, within this year, a picture, I don't know, I won't even call it leaked. A picture was posted that Ubehu John Mahama and Haruna Idrisu, Haruna Idrisu fie, omote table who didi. Yet again, the NDC has gone a step further. Emma, and Saturday, no, Onuna Obe introduce John Mahama. I don't know if you get that sense to say one more share that year and start to dispel rumors nana.
Baby, one thing is that amanyokua hodo na obuwo no.
Yeah.
Where picture ya here.
Yeah.
Say ebinum take entrenched position. Na ohana so ya. Na obi hu ni say weni wentamu. Enam say eye amanyokuo ene amanyofo ene ewo mu nti no. Ekoba ne saa o tu America ba be kasa asmasi ni we nka hwie. If you say amanyokuo no, de man ya amanyokuo nse eye kasa ene sebi adefe any interest ne kabom. Na obi ade ne dia obi ato ne ese ya ba ye bo asomasi chidom na akwaje amaye so what you say
sure.
And Haruna Idrisu honorable and his excellency former president John Mahama awu nie ade na ekoso no ne ehun sunsanso enkomo no it may not be nokre and so enkomo bi wo ho na uya manyoko na jai mane ka hwa ebeka eye nokre because nkofo edi omumlenu nyina achie no the omotie yes ankomo no apart from the good relationship that may exist between the two what you say and you say one may address it na we jai na hangi ho saa omo ankasa supporters omushi omo they see themselves as opponents so what you say now medium since amfonyi we no there are several others yemfanto ho na ebeba. There are several others ebeba na BBTA and I know you may do no
yeah
you're John Mahama ye ni bi chere se ampa we leader
okay
na party ni interest ewum we say per information a mewo what try say on party ma omuye bibi inti mnasipo bia bani nyina ebe fine what you say
okay
and no and keep you omu going na say ekose ya ma wo mu a ebeboa wo mu party ni pa the same thing ena esi ewo MPP fo nim woko arabo kan Japan side ahụ na ehuma MPP fo pa se yede napo eba eyi ye fen se menhia na arabo kan Japan di mu akotene what you say attempting to show say there be
if you
yes at a point okay say man for say my free party ni aha na me wo eni nyina no eye kasa sana manyosam tie sana manyofo no tie ase ba sa no fe na ma na uja no ma ne ko na bi kura Daniel Fafanto metu wa hwe ahaw o dia so na me kana se sa manyosam no fe mentime ho ase asem we amfamafa minyanke ko sei se wa address ni ye na fichire Daniel Fafanto netu na utra nyeye na bi kura etimi dane bibi foforo ne kwa etimi de how bro anyone
go break mame nkwa homa no so na me nkwa engage deputy communications officer ma the National Democratic Congress NDC Godwin Akogan na yemhwe Saturday Jumedia ekoso ene womo appreciation of Jumedia no Akogan no temenka happy suni yemo ahamo akwaba
Honorable Bismark Brown, the patron also.
Hey, title we odi amami ni. Me wo honorable MP with me in the studio. One here near your frame contempt. Mu ko chire mu kwan me fa sunya me honorable no.
Me patron. Catch and say o sina so. I know they want to cry.
Ho.
O say o ye bone a. I say o de ahobrɛseɛ ene ko peni enimi.
Ampa.
Na san sunya kasade.
Ampa.
Enti se manhwa se ya na so ko kase na no asem ye nwie yo. Mo se menima etonso. Enti bra.
Mate wase
mabo honorable.
Bada order so de meka honorable no mate de bada so de meka. So o na o be redeem you ho tem. No correct yo. Saturday, Bobo Ejuma, you pulled the whole of Ghana to Tamale. Enejwa de wotena sena mo hedwumadi amudi ya. What assessment of national campaign launch now? Saying.
Okay, Bibi. First of all, metia with your phone na makase the statement so we brought the whole of Ghana to Tamale no. A very deep statement. I'm saying this because na eye obinum say NDC party no yene other political parties ewo bibi eche ewo Tamale and as a northern region in general. In this specific I mean the 5 northern regions. Truth and say yene obia eni bibi eche ewo ho. We decided say a campaign launch no yeah the call one of our strongholds. In fact, yeah, strongholds maybe make me confidently say 16. The idea between me and non can say stronghold, Ashanti region and Eastern region. In talking about strongholds, we were contemplating on a lot of your friends regions. At the end of the day, we settled on the northern region. In fact, northern region,
any particular reason we choose northern region?
Like I say, we wanted one of our strongholds.
Okay.
Maybe every year, paramount in our discussion. Now, a Volta region.
Okay.
Science so a Greater Accra region. Science so a Central region.
Okay.
And Northern region. In fact, we added Kumasi to one of the places I able to me hold the lunch, no.
Okay.
However, it is so obvious that Ashanti region still remains the stronghold of the NPP. And until lunch, we will go to another place to go and start the campaign.
Okay.
And Nuna MIAE Ashanti region because Ashanti region has a lot of advantages. Looking at it being a central part of Ghana, it is easily accessible to everybody. Akoya say was center.
Exactly.
In Tianka, amount for course and rather than Tamale. However, when it happens, you to me, I started a campaign or Ashanti region for strategic reasons. We fell on the northern region.
What for strategic reasons? Is it the case that Namofo say Ashanti region being the stronghold of the the NPP, more year campaign launch or what? Mfana.
No. So, but the problem is that you mean start a campaign
because it won't feel
it means when we launch our campaign in Ashanti region, we'll then move to the northern region to start our campaign there. But we want to start our campaign where the campaign is launched.
Okay.
That took your friend saying Ashanti region off.
So you didn't want to start from the middle?
We didn't want to start from the middle. We want to start from the top and come down.
I see. Okay. Now, listening to Mpenimfo Ebekasaye, there seemed to be a dwelling on Nanado handing over power if the NPP loses. There seemed to be also a dwelling on Electoral Commission, say obey free, obey fair, and obey transparent. At the NDC for Musuru, speaker after speaker, sa two themes, and then me say here mopa.
Campaigns are scientific. And let me even start with the EC. You said the Owa Canada no, Osru Sonsono. Bibi, we bisa who that say Yatuaba. The 4th year mo. Yen gazette your results. Pato enyo wanwa kakra.
This is news to me.
Pato say
news, mommy.
Thank you very much.
Maintain that.
Exactly. Yatuaba 4 years. Yen gazette 2020 elections. What is wrong with that result in to me and Gazette here? Based on that, the EC admits to everything or every accusation I had mano, including registration manual and as a registration machine. Ayera Omwankasa Eba Bonte Ebe deny when the NDC boldly told them through our members of parliament, say, "Mo machines will be Ayera. Nanya machines are Ayera Kusqua because the machines they dano yenina yenim bebia ewo yenim cameras are edaho. And he said machines Ayera there. Next say the possibility say. Mona modum camera no ama obi akwako yiyi machines ewo ho no high.
But is it the case?
Deny me ba answer bibi.
Okay.
Isi eba bontin ebe deny. Later ye be evidence ki tu ebi so tro mo no. Omo ko report to case no ewo Central Police Station. So omo machines ayera. So Obika say ono eko ene ewo entokwa dia ankobeka say we dia sanka enye ntokwa asem e ka betumi aka ma ya te enwo ase na akwakwa entokwa yi openi a ohunu fa than obi akwada ote enim he ya ebeka say na anu asem bi ewo ho na anu asem no and the Mayenne Electoral Commission, Eka and Yema Yeka. One of the laws, and say, Obia, Ube, first, we a returning officer. As I said, Ukaya baby, results, road through papers, as I said, the paradigm. How many people, including electoral commissioner, Omo Hona Aya Center Crano, Yadebo boy?
But some more political parties in Nankasa also do not insist that the EC does this.
What's the idea?
More political parties, so you don't insist to say electoral commission be comply with that provision.
We insist, but even if we don't insist, it is in the LI, the legislative instrument directs the electoral commission what to do with the first failed votes. As I said, about Diana home, now Ubia who results, picture, and all that. And, even if we don't insist, the electoral commission air kasa about the rights and idea to LI. LI also extra the SSA way. Consistently, you don't do it, and it becomes very necessary. So in public, we will tell our followers, we will tell our supporters. So electoral commission idea one fast a resource no am bob the elections no e course one me money for ballot box no ko be. You must forcefully insist, you must forcefully hold them on the ground to do it before they leave. If you need men, we'll call the communities to come out and insist to do it before you go to the collation center.
But that is recipe. That is
in the community.
But that is recipe for chaos. Enuti na mo party agents. Say party agent no enim na dwuma. I don't think say I will say do baby abeka so be use force.
Bismark, Enuti na me ka kira say nanu asem nti o. Say obi a wonim wadwuma as a returning officer. And since the agent impo and the catcher say Fabodain. Once I can be a political party, so we don't insist on it. That is why this is happening.
Sure.
Yes. The idea to say the insist. After we will insist. Insisting means that the polling agent will tell you say Fatareha. Now so also because of dream be awaye and as a forgery abi awaye no. We insist say oh yes sir. You will not leave the polling center.
Oka said you will not leave the polling center. Now, Patrick saying,
"My Patrick said, "On to me and 19th police station, Hong Kong."
How? To me, Ben, how they prevented the returning officer from moving? To me, Ben,
because he can't move.
On what basis? To me, Ben, are the casa?
BB. So I the car down on a cura to me. So, to me, no, and Tarewa 2 minutes more crime circle.
There is a reason here the police and a security person attached to every polling station. Why won't you go through the structures? Because it's about enforcement. And Marane say one ye say, and you war civilian no na what did to me besha when some say oh ma returning officer and ye humano.
Yes, civilians now. Ya fraying polling agents no. Yes, our civilians now. Ye di our legislative instruments. Ye ni be catcher no so from boho. Sam ran so catcher no so from boho. Obi a ubum raso no openi ye odai.
Emrachi no.
But that's it.
Banye emrachi ni pana na wokan. Nye wokan nye se emrachi no. O kasa kura one more law enforcement officers kura mpodin wom. You said they say woman for force.
My foul dear no. My foul dear no superior term media Matthias here.
Akugan, mete say I think an announcement was made. They said after this a manifesto launch. Ye nimda sa de ne beba so.
Yes, manifesto launch will be our next program. Bibi me person member breaking news because assembly or yes no peniano. Within this week we announced where we are taking the fairness manifesto launch.
Matisse Central Region
is ready. What's what to say, Eva?
Central Region Amoko.
May turn on Penifona catch Mr. Menka. I'm catch America.
Oh, so it was said at the program one number.
Oh, when you map man, if it was said there, I didn't hear of it.
Me program national mete.
Okay, Patroni Central Region.
To confirm your
according to the OT, they be according to the OT and says, the annex says, I don't know.
They're saying.
Maybe me have a area on part.
Anyway,
in fact, they were that saying that I was doing. So I was not on the stage.
Okay, but
until somebody mentions something, then it means it is already out. But I'll look for confirmation if it is done. Then I'll further communicate on that line.
Okay.
I always don't want to go ahead of the party.
Okay, but it is not far from Central Region.
It is one of the places being considered.
Me dear former president.
Say the rating or rating was struck across and fan call. But the confirmation on that in Tamale about a week before. Yeah, I don't want to rush on that.
Okay, but it was publicly announced that the program said Bay Central Region.
Then I believe you. I believe you said. Then that was a final endorsement that came out.
Okay. Now, John Mahama, Obabe, you know, order, order, nanoma himfo a omo abadwumadi no asenso order o mase. Sa himfo no me NDC fo ana.
Oh no.
No me den when NDC campaign launch as then. Ahimfo yes must stay away from partisan politics.
Opinion is share your program na ye wo UPSA na.
Yeah.
Yeah that ye mame Professor Jenano Popua Jemai. Yeah that ne deal no.
Yeah.
Yeah to suffer ahimfo. Some be graces are you know. You see political parties. A creation of the state. So we need 2024 elections and as any other elections are you be you know. A handful and a more able mind. So you call a campaigner, you decline a could see a handful so and Sunny Abuera baby aqua campaign. The chieftaincy will be an integral part of your first year program. And you know, most of the time, for instance, I'm a typical example. Yeah, done a poedy, and you're in feeling Kodanedi.
No, correct.
Yes. O2 for Casa Emano, O2 for 24, O2 for can be also to Ghana for the theory. So, Nam Honinano or ye O2 for Ninsanu Juma. But ultimately,
me too.
I inform by a program, the Yamomo and Casa. Because the person obi or who nim so your MPP ni a program as a okotre maika no akakoka she na akoye bibi foforo ana say bi anu akokoka eyezu no bi aka say na de na your politics say and to bia ankasa awase they were just observing the process.
Sir obi brande sa himfu as NDC a say nipa no odika ana meboa.
Oh, there be Senipa Chrono on Brandy, Yanana Otun for on Brandy no MPP. Now, sir, Ubi Betanase Keke, say Atunsa, Edia Freno. Now, be Brandy the NDC, and I say Senipa Chrono on your fair.
Godwin, Akogan, Happy FM, that's an area.
Bra, Honorable Bismark Brown, the part of the Salutu and okay, if you are brave, Kafra.
May I see, baby, enjoy your day. Godwin Akogan, Deputy National Communication Officer, Emma, the NDC. Mask.
Big one.
Yes.
The Honorable Kobna Donko.
Yes. Doctor Kobna Donko. PhD nyane
nafom.
I will be due to top passport.
Yes. Bibi so enye we nkomo no.
Mate.
We are.
Me special guest and we say the medical cultural Jumedi na Shase. A former Minister of Power, Member of Parliament, Emapru East constituency, the Honorable Dr. Kwabena Donko as my guest. And anyway, me no ebedin komo afa niema bebre ho. The just ended national launch of the NDC campaign. Ebe he ne di ho komo ebe Kupru East. Na ya hwedwuma wabo wo ho no mo since 2013. Okomra shebedwafie. His assessment of the power sector is saying the next government outlook in terms of Ghana, yen power stability to saying, Martin baby so akwaka say the next government ebe face serious challenges with the power sector pa. Ede no digina so kan sa the appreciation of problem ni eda de nti kura na yentimi enye self sufficient in terms of Ghana yen enyinamu ahoden ho nsem. Na anu yanso enaja obade adom yehu lithium wo ikurum ha ye maemu ha yakosign a new mining lease yede one of the concessions a company for 15 years na otie lands and natural resources minister the honorable Abujinapa. This is about the best arrangement yenya in any mining lease because an improvement upon neya ye de dano. We're told to say the company would have to part with 1% of Omusika Umubenya towards community development. We're told to say we being shed that any hosa about we net negotiating sa. There are other issues within ASR agreement, you know. You was honorable say as a key member of the Mines and Energy Committee. Sa mining lease it is saying you didn't come on here bon. Join us live on Facebook now. Questions biya the former Minister of Power. What the sa questions no aba ebetimi afa dumso ho ebetimi afa ne constituency ho ebetimi afa NDC ho ebetimi afa parliament he's been a member of since 2013. Second stay me dane me ho me ton ade ba ku mienu pe me ba me ne honorable Kwabena Dr. Kwabena Donko ebe hye enkomo na se happy 98.9 FM sunie ye ba sisia.
Yes. Ye bedidi na meche Angel Cola. Me bread obi fa Angel Cola drink. Na ne yonku eyi Angel Orange. Ana Angel Mango. Ose me san pedi obi eyi. Aka me de ho.
Sese obi ape Angel soft drinks ni nyina bi.
Ai daddy, me say me penny ni na bi.
Sister, wo de mama Angel Peach, Angel Strawberry, and na Angel Cocktail. Actually, no mabaje Angel Apple Lime.
What ye? Sanya fuma de. Me say Angel Cola, any Angel Orange, pe na menya. Afei na nka.
It's also from wifey for us just no ebesi ha. Never Angel drinks ni nyina agum. Obi ankata na ni no woni. De won sabe so mo no no anom.
Ani, asamasa. Enu anu no.
De bia sa na enya no.
Angel Cola de asemba bo. Angel drinks ya. I don't call soft drinks beverages limited. And why? Who to do after one? 0244 83 22 86 and 050 78 78 668.
Angel Drinks.
Taste like our day.
FDA Ajede Nkratoyatu.
Get ready to soar the skies of Rwanda. Business in Kigali, shopping in Johannesburg, or vacation in Paris. Experience our vast destination network and proud fleet and award-winning service. Whether you are a new traveler or planning your next escape, Rwanda guarantees unmatched comfort and a sky-spanning network. Book your next flight today at rwandair.com or reach us via email at sales.accra@rwandair.com. Call us at +233 0598 760 645 or +233 0598 797 194 or visit your nearest travel agents.
Rwanda, fly the dream of Africa.
Baby, when you say first now you have been shut down per politics. You see politics for no money or money and your money. But na mumu e binu so nti enyina ya ni agi say e bebo ama o man na akoso na e bo 1 o'clock pe na wa ye lawyer ama o man na lawyer for enyina pon akofi akoda nyamishra.
Welcome back 98.9 FM Epahwada Ben Jumedie.
ɛkwa ho adabe nti si no pi na nokorɛ ɛyɛ baako pɛ.
It's 2:15. Senior medical aboho de road yamawono and then a special guest, a member of parliament, Emma Prue East constituency, on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress. Papa ya meka na asemi. Emra Ghana kwa hu he mu efa dum so ho. He was given the unenviable task of solving our problem, unenviable because menye sure say na a situation ubia be pese obekomu as a minister, but ojeto no ho so obe free a Ministry of Power na wotu anamon bebre towards solving Ghana energy crisis. It is one of the most controversial political topics for Ghana. Even now, yada so can say, wana pa na yada so busa wana na solve dum so. Ewe we'll try. And we say you bet me any finality to that matter. Dr. Kwabena Donko is my guest. Doc, Memoaha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me say, sir, because of Nkomona Yebedino energy, mining, any technicalities be and the Honorable Professor said, Yankomo Dino Yebedino Potokasemu Brofumu. Esane se o kyerɛkyerɛ nsɛm saa no ɛwɔ potokasɛm a ne ntiasɛm no osusu sɛ ɛboa no mum ɛma ne kana asɛm yi nti largely enkomo no yebedi no ɛyɛ borɔfo mu ba meme deɛ me de twi bɛfrafra sɛ bɛyɛ a amanfo nso betimi adi akyire na ma try so sɛ nsɛm ni bi ɔbɛka bi a ne mu duro no ma break ne down ɛde ama na onso watimi adi enkomo no akyi. Doc, welcome back once again.
Thank you.
I hope all is well with you.
By the grace of God, yes.
Were you in Tamale on Saturday?
No.
Why?
Well, we had business on the house floor.
Oh, on Saturday?
On Friday.
On Friday.
And the house closed very late. I missed my flight.
Oh,
and
too
so
bad.
I couldn't go. And all flights were booked, fully booked on Saturday. And at the time we left the chamber of parliament Friday night, I couldn't drive to Tamale.
No way. Wow.
But I followed.
You must have missed a lot.
Well, I followed virtually live all through Saturday.
Okay. Does it take anything away from you, the fact that you were not physically present there?
Well, the euphoria is what you'll miss.
Okay.
Other than that, you are probably even in a better position to observe.
So observing from home, what for you were the highlights of this national campaign launch? Would you say that this is a very successful one?
Absolutely. Absolutely successful.
And what would be your benchmarks for success?
Well, success is the enthusiasm. Success is the mood of the country, the mood of the people, the organizational excellence that was achieved. Yeah, those are the things I look for. And I believe it was very successful.
Are there specifics you want to refer to?
No, the euphoria. Tamale, the city was agog with euphoria. There was an air of expectation.
Okay.
And for me, that is what the best takeaway.
How strategic is Tamale to the NDC?
Well, Tamale is strategic because, for example, all the seats in Tamale City are NDC
seats.
Safe, not just NDC seats, NDC safe seats.
Okay.
That's one. Tamale is also the biggest city in the northern part of the country.
Okay.
And so that is important. And then if you take the 5 northern regions, Tamale is relatively central. So in terms of transportation, in terms of party supporters coming, the centrality of the city was also very good.
But in spite of that, I'm sure that recent numbers pulled by the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Baumia, in other parts of the northern region, probably even informed this decision to go to Tamale. The MPP appears to be pulling crowds on Dr. Baumia's campaign. We've seen videos of people trooping to the streets to meet him, very, very huge numbers. Is this part of the reason the NDC seem to be reconnecting with its roots in the northern parts of Ghana?
Well, if you're alluding to a show of strength, then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia doesn't come anywhere near President John Dramani Mahama. If it's a show of strength.
In terms of the northern part?
In terms of the northern parts. Okay. The 2020 election results are there. If it's in terms of busing people, of course, Mahmoud Bawumia has the whole machinery of state to bus people, whether under duress or under voluntary basis, to wherever he goes.
How can he be under duress?
Haven't we seen students under duress being ordered to stand by the street or go for rallies? We've seen them.
Would you call that duress?
Of course. If you are in a college of education in your secondary school and the headmaster or the headmistress instructs you to go to the rally ground, and we've seen a number of them in recent days, especially on Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign tour. Are you saying that it's not duress?
I'm wondering.
It is.
I'm wondering why a student complying with administrative directives would be termed duress.
Is that the student's free will? Did the student have an option?
Why not?
To say, I won't go? When your headmistress or your headmaster instructs all of you to go and provides even the school official vehicles and other logistics for you to go. You can't say that is free will.
I see. So you consider that as duress?
Absolutely.
But they're not complaining. You see them all.
Do they have the voice to complain? Which student in a secondary school in Ghana, or which head teacher, headmaster, or which tutor would dare complain? We've seen headmasters transferred. So who wants to be the next victim?
But your candidate, John Mahama, equally meets students. Under what circumstances does that happen?
That is under very voluntary, because he has no power to compel. He has no power to threaten to transfer a headmaster or a tutor.
An opposition leader gets the opportunity to meet students in a school.
Yes.
That must have also been directed by the heads of the school for students to meet him.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Yes, because any headmaster that allows an opposition candidate, any opposition candidate to meet students, will first of all seek clearance from the regional director or somebody. And in order to further enhance our democratic, in quotes, credentials, they will gradually say, yes, maybe one or two schools.
So you consider Dr. Bawumia's crowd an inorganic crowd?
Absolutely. A better description would be a rented crowd.
Rented?
Yes.
Rented, Honorable. Honorable Dr. Kwabena Donko is my guest and na mibusa no NDC na no me ne dadwumadi omkodi ewo Tamale na okase wantimi anko because na wo ye adwuma wo mrahye ampontem sa afiada no at the time of point na the flight to crown so time wetwemu a wantimi anko enya de nso asa time no betima tenaka mu so Tamale nti ono hwe adwumadi ni nyina wo fie na mibusa ne se anyebia no de na eso nani also largely bibia koso kama ema oni osusu se dwumadi no koso na mebusa se anyebia na anu ya nansen Dr. Bawumia campaign a woye no atifi mantemo wo twe nipa na no wo nipa crowd just video no ya nipa bebre eno na agba NDC fo hu a ama wo mo akoye mo campaign launch ewo Tamale na no so debi na Dr. Bawumia de se uhu se wone asukufo ne mabu na hia enya wo mo pe na wo mo de na hia eya wo aba mu nti ye forso wo mo ema o mo ba be hia no na me ka se na se John Mahama nso o hia asukufo anya bia wo no so ye forso wo mo ana no so wone de different thing because ansa krampo ansa na headmaster be ma wo kwan opposition leader se be hia asukufo na wa tron character bebre enti oni osusu se Dr. Baumia crowd upuli no mimi yusu where so obeka say inorganic na say enya dia free one kasankasa mu no mo eba and also ono mpokura de won ka no inorganic obefre wono rented crowd and na mesre e wo so say rented crowd pa and ono ankasa enso esre bi. But how do you assess the chances of the NDC in this 2024 elections? There seem to be a certain reliance on the fact that there are economic challenges, there are difficulties with the country in terms of economic indicators, and therefore automatically that will translate into victory for the NDC. It appears that is the impression being created.
Well, if anybody gets that impression, is getting the wrong impression.
Really?
Yes. We have crafted policies which will be summarized in our manifesto.
Okay.
And when the manifesto comes out, and mind you, this year, anything in the manifesto has been expanded in a policy document.
Okay.
So we're going to hit the ground running.
So there is a manifesto and there is a policy document.
Policy document. For example, I served on the energy committee of the party. Indeed, I chair the power subsector.
Okay.
So yes, there is the manifesto commitment, but so as not to come and then begin now to fashion our policy because of the nature of the challenge we face. This is going to be very unprecedented. I know the word unprecedented has been used too often in Ghana, but this is going to be a real one.
I see.
For example, in the power sector alone, we have minimum $3 billion debt.
Minimum
$3 billion, because it's growing every month.
This is happy.
And so
you can actually put a maximum number to it now because it keeps growing.
It keeps growing. For example, let me give you a good example. For the IPPs, ECG has agreed, of course, under the supervision of the ministries for energy and finance, that they will pay the IPPs $43 million every month. And then the rest, the difference between the invoice and the $43 million will be rolled forward to to be paid within the next 5 years.
Okay. So that's some form of debt restructuring with IPPs.
Debt accumulation is being built.
But you've restructured it, haven't you?
No, we haven't.
I mean the government.
The government says they have agreed that, look, we'll pay this amount. That amount is below the invoice price.
Okay.
And that's okay. The difference between the $43 million and the invoice price, we will pay it beginning from 2025. So it just means every month we are adding to the debt stock.
Okay.
So that is a challenge that we cannot wait for, assume the reins of power, and then start working on. At least we have a platform on which to work. If we even used the conservative figure of $3 billion in the power sector, conservative, at least we can fashion out some policies, and that we have done.
Okay, but this is an interesting approach. So what normally we would hear is the launch of a manifesto.
Yes, please.
But you are saying that on this occasion, the NDC is taking a different approach.
Yes.
You are going into policy formulation while in opposition.
Yes.
So that when you come to power, you hit the ground running.
Yes, at least it gives us a launch pad.
But you don't have the benefit of every information to form a policy now.
That is why I use the word a launch pad.
A launch pad, okay.
Yes. Quite often, with my experience, I've been in the public sector. I've been in gov politics since 1982 with the PNDC. My experience is that you will never know all of the indebtedness.
You will never know?
Yes, until you actually examine the books. Because there are all sorts of clever ways of trying to hide. Let me give you a good example. there was always, before 2020, the NDC figure for indebtedness was always higher than MPP figure. And there were two major issues. Whereas the MPP government, the Kenoforiata and Bawumia, since Bawumia was the chairman of the economic management team, they will always state our debt position minus the ESLA PLC, the Dachin PLC, because they set up special purpose vehicles and claimed that since these were legal entities, legal personas, their debt will not be on central government books. We disagreed at that time, especially under the leadership of the Honorable Dr. Atufoso. We disagreed at that time. When they went to World Bank, the World Bank said, no, this is Kweku Anansi accounting, because you are the sole shareholder of those SPVs, special purpose vehicles. The contingent liability rests with government. And the inflows into those special vehicles are from taxes. And so they should be added to the government debt stock.
So how was government treating those SPVs then?
Yeah, they were treating them as private, non-government, and the government was only a guarantor. And so, who knows what other accounting treatments have been made on some of our outstanding liabilities.
So is it the case that as you're forming or formulating policies to be in tandem with the manifesto commitment, you leave room for some of these
we recognize a possible contingency. We recognize the crystallization of something that we were not told or that we didn't know. For example, let me give you another example why we take this position. The Minister of Finance claims they have reached some agreement with the Chamber of IPPs, Independent Power Producers, and that they have restructured their debt. The Chief Executive of the Chamber says government is being economical with the truth. Government should tell the whole story. So there is no signed off agreement yet, and the nature of the restructuring.
But the finance minister announced that 5 IPPs have agreed to this restructuring.
Have you seen the contract document?
You are on the committee.
I
haven't seen it.
Yes, we haven't either.
Really?
We haven't either. And the chief executive of the chamber
hasn't as well.
No,
says
that is not exactly the story. So what I believe is that yes, there have been some discussions. Yes, there have been some negotiations. Yes, there may be some primary positions.
But the full picture is not clear.
Yes. And so what if we come and they will realize that it is not exactly embellished as it's been presented.
But that can throw your policy out of gear.
And that is why I say we have made room for contingency. We have made room for the unexpected.
Is this approach to manifesto implementation across all sectors, or that is limited to the power sector?
Absolutely. You see, for the first time in the NDC, in terms of policy, a group was set up as far back as 3-4 years ago.
Really?
Yes. And I don't know whether I'm at liberty, but under Professor Danso. And we've been working on policy. We call it the lab.
For
policy
the NDC?
Lab. Yeah, we've been working on
policy lab.
Yes.
And you've been at this since 4 years ago?
Since we lost the election. Since
2016?
No, since 2020. The 2020 election was declared not in our favor. Let me put it that way.
Are you still contesting the 2020 elections?
No, all I'm saying is that it was declared not in our favor. And as
you lost?
As we speak.
Do you agree you lost?
Do you have any gazettes showing the results?
Well, I was just told this afternoon by a communication officer that it has not been gazetted.
No, so...
But the EC's announcement indicates that the NDC lost the 2020 elections.
Which of the announcements?
The very final announcement that made President Akufo-Addo the president.
How final is final? Legally, it is finalized with a gazette. That hasn't taken place, to the best of my knowledge, except the gazette is there. It's become...
But then this is looking on.
Yes, we've moved on. We're
actually looking on.
Yes, no, we are not.
You are.
We are not.
It's a constitutional requirement to have the election results gazetted.
We are not.
2020 up till now, it has not been done. You are not raising concerns. You are looking on.
Where do we have to raise the concerns?
You have IPAC, you have Parliament.
Yes, those concerns have been raised.
Where?
Have been raised at IPAC. They've been raised. They've been raised in the public space. The only body that can enforce that is the court. And
can the Ghanaian public rely on the NDC to get the EC to do what is supposed to be done?
Is it the duty of the NDC or the duty of the Ghanaian public and the Ghanaian state?
Can all Ghanaians can't ensure that? You are seeking to lead us.
Why?
You are seeking to lead us. Will you take that mantle?
No, what the fourth estate of the realm
is the media.
Yes, and what's their duty?
Certainly, it is one of what we are doing: advocacy, information, entertainment, education.
What stops you from going to court to enforce that?
Well, in my case, I just heard about it this afternoon. But you have known this information. The NDC, as a public institution, has known this, and you haven't spoken about it.
We have spoken about it. If you haven't heard, we have spoken about it severally. But the most important thing is that by the same constitution that governs us, is the court that ultimately can compel. But we know the history of NDC going to court. This is my personal opinion. Okay. This is not NDC's opinion. Let me make that distinction. My personal opinion is that anything NDC going to court, the court has a disposition against the NDC. That's my personal opinion.
But that's generalization.
Yes. Am I not allowed?
You are allowed, but
yes.
I mean,
yes. On the basis of evidence. How many cases haven't we taken especially to the Supreme Court?
But if your case is bad, it is bad. You go there with lawyers.
Are you saying we are so damp that we will not know which case has a probability of winning? Are you ascribing dampness to us?
I can't ascribe dampness to you.
Precisely.
But it is a technical job. It's a technical matter.
Yes.
The fact that you go to court doesn't mean you have a solid case.
I don't think our lawyers are not technical. And in other jurisdictions, you go to court and lose. Maybe it's a 3-2, a 4-1, depending on the composition of the panel. And where it is even 3-2, you'll find two judges agreeing with your position and advancing arguments why they agree. You may find the three disagreeing with you, and each one advancing argument. It reaches the jurisprudence of the country.
Are you saying that is not...
That does not happen.
Give me examples of cases that have been so dismissed, creating that impression you are creating now.
The first one is the election petition.
What about it looks like what you say?
Please.
Doc.
Please. I don't... If you are not aware, I'll just leave the...
It's not about me being aware.
I'll just leave the Ghanaian public.
I need you to... I need you to help me, my listeners and I
sincerely don't want to go into a coalition course with the judiciary at this time.
Okay.
And it's not in the interest of the NDC. That is why we've left lying dogs to lie.
But you raised it.
Yes, I raised it. Yes, I raised it as a general argument. You asked why, and I said, look, anytime we've gone to court, we've lost. The court has not ruled in our favor.
And you don't think it's a genuine loss?
I don't think it helps the jurisprudence of this country.
Because you lose on all occasions?
Not just on all occasions, but even the... Look, in this country, somebody's responsible for the composition of a panel.
That's right. The Chief Justice.
Yes. In other jurisdictions, all Supreme Court judges sit. But in our jurisdiction, that is not the practice. And in other jurisdictions, you know the ideological leaning of
Supreme Court justices.
And therefore, you know how they are likely to interpret the law. Remember, the law is not an exact science. Remember that. So you know. But in our country, we have one person choosing who should hear which case, choosing who should chair which panel, and that person will know the ideological disposition of these people. So if I choose 5 like-minded judges who are from this school of legal thought to sit on your case.
Do I get the impression that the NDC appears to be always, I want to be careful the word I use, the NDC appears to have issues with the judiciary anytime you are in opposition?
It's not just anytime we're in opposition.
I remember Dr. Kwabeneji and the infamous, there are so many ways in killing a cat. It had to do with the judiciary.
Listen.
Yes, sir.
In government, under Professor Mills, we lost far more cases in court than under Kufuor or under Kufuor.
Okay.
Let me say this, and I take responsibility for this statement. It's not an NDC statement.
Right.
The Ghanaian middle and professional classes are instinctively pro-MPP.
Really?
Instinctively.
Instinctively?
Yes, pro-MPP. It takes a lot more for them to turn against MPP.
Why do you think it is so?
Like the media. I won't go further, like the media. The media is largely for MPP, instinctively. It may not, yes.
Have you done a content analysis of media in Ghana to arrive at this conclusion?
Oh, absolutely. We saw 2016. We've been in this Fourth Republic. The media is instinct. You always get a small element, a minority, but instinctively. So it takes a lot of misgovernance, a lot of mismanagement to get the media to shift. As we speak, I personally believe the media has shifted.
Really? Shifted to?
Yeah. They've shifted to the middle from a pro-MPP enthusiastic position to beginning to be neutral and even attacking the wrongdoings of the MPP. That is sin. And of course, the evidence is there. How many media people have not been co-opted into government? In numbers we've never seen in this country before. So he's there.
But you are silent on the other branch of media that ran serious, vociferous advocacy for the NDC. They are there.
I'm not silent.
In the regions. In the cities.
I'm not silent. I said there was always a minority.
Do you consider them in a minority?
Absolutely.
NDC media?
Yes, absolutely. It's not. Absolutely.
Really?
State power was brought even to silence those minority, especially during President Nana Addo's first term.
You're referring to the Muntie 3 and all of that?
No, not just the individual, even the stations. If 2 stations were owing, they chose to shut one down using executive power and leave the other. Just like the banks.
You think that favoritism informed the banks that were collapsed?
I wouldn't just say favoritism. I would say the wrong use of discretion.
Wrong use of discretion?
Yes.
How do you explain that? Wrong use of discretion. We're dealing with facts.
Yes.
The Bank of Ghana had all the figures. The signs that these banks were going under were clear.
Were they the only banks going under? Were they the only ones with weak balance sheets? As we speak today, the Bank of Ghana itself, does it not have negative equity?
This is Happy FM.
I like the smile on your face, Doc.
Yeah. You see, institutions of states will always have discretion. And that is why the Constitution has a prescription for the use of discretion. When you have to exercise discretion, the Constitution expects you to exercise discretion in a way that is non-discriminatory, etc. But if somebody exercises discretion and is discriminatory, where do you have to run to?
The courts.
The courts. And when the court itself, in your opinion, has not exercised its discretion to favor you, will you further go there?
Interesting thoughts. Let's come back to the issue of power. What is your reading of our status in terms of power sustainability? Early part of this year, we experienced Dumso. We saw a demonstration organized by Yvonne Nelson and a number of people. You experienced the same, in fact, demonstration when you were Minister of Power. Do you think, let me rephrase it, for you, are we out of the woods? The president assured us that indeed we are not in Dumso.
The very day he said that, what happened?
Yeah, but certainly we cannot compare the Dumso we're experiencing in the early part of this year to what we experienced when you were Power Minister. True?
True, because early part of this year, not just early part of this year,
under
this government, we had no business experiencing load shedding at all.
Okay.
We had no business. This was a government that accused us of creating excess capacity. And therefore, if assuming without admitting that you inherited excess capacity for which you were complaining, why do you go into it?
But you had the energy minister. This is not Dumso. This is...
What did he say it was?
Repairing to fix.
In both scenarios, was there power?
Well, there wasn't power.
Precise.
But
That's
you
enough.
admit
That's
that
enough.
You admit that your Dumso is not the same as this Dumso. You admitted
You see,
it.
we inherited a situation from the Kufuor government that not much had been added.
Okay.
And we had the economy growing.
Population increasing.
So that was the situation we inherited. And most importantly, in terms of fuel, we were totally dependent on imported fuel.
That's true.
And for example, when the West African gas pipeline was breached for about 6-7 months, it was outside our control. They never had that situation. They inherited a situation where we had domestic gas. Today, domestic gas accounts for about 80% of our gas
fuels.
They inherited that, arising out of the back of the work we did in government. So that is one.
Is Ghana Gas feeding the IPPs?
Yes, they do.
All of them?
They do.
Okay.
So that is one. Then two, we had brought in enough install capacity to the extent that they claimed the capacity was even excessive. So how can you compare the two?
Is that not why they don't blame it on generational capacity and they say that it is rather doomsday? They are putting off to repair. It is not as if we have generational issues.
Is that
that's the position of the government.
Is that convincing to you? Do you look? You have a house you are living in.
Yeah.
You have only one house. Do you break down the house and sleep outside in order to build a new house?
One? No one does that.
Precisely. So it doesn't make sense.
But when it has to do with machines, you have to put off to repair and maintain.
Listen.
It's not the same scenario, is it?
Listen, it is.
How so?
Listen. We have what we call the reserve margin.
Okay.
assuming your consumption, you consume 6 bottles of water a day.
This is happy.
That is why you buy 8 bottles.
Okay.
The 2 are your reserve. In your attempt to open with, if you find out that there is something,
if it's unwholesome,
you put it aside and then bring in one of the 2 reserve.
Yeah.
And that is why in power economics we have what we call a reserve margin.
Okay. Is that how come you signed a lot of power purchase agreements when we didn't need them?
Who said that? Who said we didn't need them?
This government said we didn't need a lot of the power purchasing agreements. Take or pay when we didn't need them.
You see.
Is that not the case?
You see, technical illiteracy often translates into political populism.
Say that again.
Technical illiteracy often translates into political populism.
Explain that.
This is happy.
Assuming we need 100 megawatts today,
okay,
to meet our current demand. Demand is growing by anything between 8 to 12% a year.
Okay.
So next year you wouldn't need 100. You would need more than 100. That is one. 2, you are working with equipment. So if you want to meet today's demand, you will not need just the 100. You will need 120. So that if a plant has to go off for planned maintenance, whether planned or unplanned, there is capacity for it to be seamless.
Okay.
But during the time you are not using the 2, somebody has to pay for it.
And that appears to be the problem.
And that has to be paid for as part of the price for having power.
This is
even when you are not using it.
Precisely.
Because it's your backup.
It's your backup. Do you pay for backup or you don't pay?
How many of such backups did you sign up before leaving office?
Listen.
Because they complain about the quantum, the number.
As for complain, and that was why I say technical illiteracy is often translated into populism. Dangerous populism, let me even qualify that.
Okay.
Dangerous populism. Every year you have a growth. It takes minimum 3 years to sign on to bring a thermal plant from final investment decision to generation. 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
I see. So that's almost a term of a government.
Precisely. So when you sign on, you also reserve the right to schedule when it comes on stream.
Oh, okay.
And until it comes on stream, you are not paying for it. And for most developing economies, at the initial stages, you sign take-or-pay contracts.
Okay.
A 330 megawatt combined cycle plant will cost in the region of $500 million. Which investor is going to put $500 million in your economy without an assurance of payment? Will you do that if you had that money?
But how can there be an assurance when you only pay for when it comes on stream? That is no assurance.
Precisely.
What if it never comes on stream?
Precisely. That is why you sign take or pay.
Okay.
You assure. In fact, no bank will even. You can't come to what we call final investment decision.
Okay.
If that assurance is not there. MPP in office, there were plans we signed for 5 years because there were emergency power plans, the AXA plans. The 5 years have left. And they have extended the 5 years. If we had excess capacity and the contract is lapsed, do you renew?
You're not under any obligation to.
Precisely, but they have. Have they taken out the take or pay? No.
They are still there.
They are still there. Because
but it has implications if you want to take them out.
Yes.
Are there no implications for taking them out?
No. There are.
But that's breach of contract.
That there
Judgment
are.
debt.
Yeah, so what of the new ones? The new ones also have take or pay.
Signed under
them.
Okay.
I'm just giving an example of the AXA plan.
AXA.
Yeah, whose contract had elapsed at which they had renewed. They were not obliged to renew, one, if we had excess capacity. Two, they had the opportunity to sign their take or pay if that's what they wanted. Did they sign take or pay? No.
What did they sign?
They signed take and pay.
Take and pay.
They signed take or pay.
Okay.
They could have signed take
and pay.
And pay.
What's the difference?
The difference is that in one, if you are doing take and pay, you only pay when you take.
Okay.
In take or pay,
whether you take or you don't, you pay.
Yeah, if you take, of course, you pay for it. If you don't take, you pay.
That's the kind of agreement you left us.
You had to.
Why?
Why?
Why do you tie us to that?
Tema LNG.
Okay.
Tema LNG project, that contract that they went to sign. It's take or pay. You see,
you are using that to justify your decision.
Industries have their norm. I just asked you a question. Will you put $500 million into a project in another country?
And there are no guarantees.
Without an assurance of payment? No, will you?
Not at all. No investor will do so.
Precisely. For example, if we get the opportunity again, and now we need to expand, for example, you can then deal with existing plants. Can you add a bit more capacity to it? That gives you the opportunity to negotiate under new terms of what they are adding to. And let me tell you one of the saddest stories in Ghana. When we were negotiating the Ameri plant,
This is Happy FM.
the whole country, virtually the media, wanted to eat me alive.
We were on your neck.
That, the plants they had gone to do some DEX research and we could have paid 300 or 390 or something for it, and we are paying 510. The man is sold us or pushed
because there was a middleman.
Pushed us under the bus. There was no middleman.
Sheikh Atum.
He wasn't a middleman.
Who was he?
His company was the one we signed the contract with. So why is he a middleman? He's a contracting party. But what Ghanaians...
No, but is it his company that manufactured the plant? No.
Excuse me. If you go and contract a contractor to build your house, does he manufacture the cement?
No. So what? You gave the contract.
Somebody has a contract and he has to go and source for his material too.
But you could have gone to the market to buy this plant yourself. Did you have to go through Sheikh Atum?
You see, again, this is a good example of collective intellectual laziness.
Really?
Collective.
You mean all Ghanaians are intellectually lazy?
I'm not saying all those.
Collective.
Those pushing this argument. Did you have the money to go and buy the plants?
You didn't have.
You didn't have. That is one. The plants are also not on the shelf. They have long. If you go to sign a contract today, the plant will not be delivered to you. It will take at least 6 months.
Okay.
You are in an emergency. That is one. So the 6 months, assume you had the money, the lead time will have been 6 months or more. That is one. Two, you didn't have the money. So what do you do?
Tell us what you did.
What we did was that we got a company that had the money to bring in the plant, help us solve our problem in the short term, and then we added something unique to it that, look, okay, we'll pay you within 5 years. At the end of the contract, let the plant become ours. We take over the plant. Build, own, operate, and transfer.
BOT.
We did that. Of course, if you're going to do high pitches, do you pay the face value of the... Ultimately, you pay the face value of the... whether it's a house or a car. If you do, we can pay.
You pay more than that. You pay more than the
absolutely. Absolutely. So, we have had companies in Ghana.
So he bought it for us, and then later we paid him.
We didn't buy it from him.
He bought it for us.
We contracted him to provide us a plant. 250 megawatts.
But he doesn't manufacture plants.
I asked you a question. If you contract a contractor to build a house for you, does he manufacture cement?
But you know, I mean, this is not a house construction, a construction of a house we're talking about. These are these are machines. These are machines manufactured by specific companies. Companies, I'm sure you know them already.
Yeah, look,
companies, you could have contacted them directly, especially when it was so urgent.
If you go to employ a caterer to cater for a party that you have, does the caterer grow tomatoes and pepper? No. Good. There are companies in this world who specialize in construction, who specialize in provision of power, etc.
That's true.
They don't manufacture equipment. For example, we're using GE equipment, General Electric equipment. The Ameri units are General Electric.
Okay.
You didn't even have the money to go to General Electric to buy. You didn't have the money. That's the starting point. And assuming you even had the money, there's a lead time. The equipment are not sitting there that I have money, I've paid, so I'm taking. You order, they manufacture for you. And that's what I mean by lead time.
Okay.
The minimum lead time was 6 months. So you didn't have the money. So that option
and time was not on your side.
Time was not on your side. So you contract a company that will come and install for you. You can either buy your energy and go, like AXA.
So those who say that we actually paid more than we ought to have paid are right because of the unique situation or circumstance Ghana found itself in. We had to pay more than necessary.
They are not. They are not right. They were just.
They are not right.
They are not right.
Okay.
You don't compare a high purchase
to an outright buy.
To an outright buyout, and say, "Oh, you have paid more because you could have gotten." Look,
yours was a high purchase scenario.
Yes, you go to Auto Plaza today. You want a Genesis.
Yeah.
If you have money to buy cash, the price is different.
That's true.
If you have to pay by installments, the price will be different.
That's true.
So what's the difference? And that's why I say we are intellectually lazy. We didn't even look at the concept.
You didn't probably also explain the concept well.
People were not prepared to listen.
Would you?
We held press conferences, we explained, we put documents out, and it was just that these people would deal with them. We've had them. And so that is it. Today, let me give you a good example. We've had plants in Ghana. Some have been in this country. Tico has been in this country for almost 20 years.
Okay.
We've been paying for power every year. We've been paying. It has never become ours. Southern Asogli has been around. We've been paying. It's never become ours. Same power. I can give you an example. But within 5 years, the BOT we signed, we became owners of the plant. And the plant has a minimum 20 years useful life left.
That's a car power?
No.
Or which one?
That's Ameri. That's the one we've just recommissioned in Kumasi. We've taken 6 out of the 10 units to Kumasi at zero price because the Mahama-led attempt was innovative. And quite often, unfortunately, when you are dealing with a set of people who are either hell-bent on finding fault or are intellectually lazy, anything innovative creates its own challenges because it's not the known norm.
Between 2014 and 2017, we're told that former director of Tamale Oil Refinery, Asante Kwaku Beko, according to indictment documents from the UK, indicates that between 2014 and 2017, he funneled bribes to Ghanaian officials in exchange for their support for a Turkish energy company's bid to build and operate a power plant in Ghana. You were the minister then, right?
I was the minister of power, yes. Not the period, not within the period.
Not within the period.
Yeah, some of the period.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, are you aware of Mr. Beko? Are you aware of his arrest?
I've read it just like you've read it.
Okay. What do you know about this?
Did you find my name in the report?
Your name is not in the report.
Precisely.
But it must have happened around the time you were power minister.
Precisely. My name is not in the report. One, we didn't have any contract with him. Apparently, and this is what I came to find, the fund he was working with, the investment fund he was working with, were working with AXA.
Okay.
One of their funds, they were working with AXA. So whatever allegedly took place was between the fund and AXA. If they say Ghanaian officials, well, until they are named, I mean, I am very cautious.
Did you, as Minister of Power, had the occasion to send Ghanaian officials to inspect any power plant in Turkey?
Absolutely, I did.
Is this the trip you're talking about?
Yes, I saw something that they paid Ghanaian officials
$5,000
each.
All expense paid.
Again, it is one of the most stupid things I've ever heard in public life. We have had to, yes.
That's too harsh.
No, I'm not. In fact, it's too moderate. We have what we call factory assessment test. You are going to buy a piece of equipment. Ambulance and they do that always. You're going to buy a certain volume of equipment. They say they are manufacturing them for you. Do you wait for them to bring the equipment to Ghana, and if you are not satisfied, you say, no, I don't want it? So it's a normal commercial arrangement that you will send your team to the factory where it is being manufactured at a certain stage. And it is also normal for the party with the contract to pay to fund that factory inspection. Without that, there is no delivery.
You are the one buying an equipment. You are the one who needs an equipment.
Not necessarily. The seller needs to sell a product.
But you need his product.
Yes, it's a competitive world.
Yes, you are hoping to buy something you need.
Yes,
and the person selling to you takes care of your bills.
Yes, it's normally in the contract as a condition precedent that your team will come and inspect the product at the cost of the seller.
What stage will this be in terms of the arrangement?
Good. In this particular case, this was a slightly used plant.
Okay.
And so as part of the contracting agreement, a team, and I wasn't part of the team, but a technical team.
But you sent the team?
Yes, I take responsibility. A technical team will leave Ghana, go there, go test run the plant for a number of days to satisfy me that that plant is in good condition and that it meets our requirements. So the team, VRA, Ministry of Energy, normally Energy Commission, you compose a team. And it is that person's responsibility, it's in the contract, to buy the air tickets, provide the hotel accommodation, and then per diem.
The fact that it is in the contract does not make it right, does it?
It is a norm. Go Look,
it's interesting.
Don't take.
It is interesting that you describe it as a norm.
Don't take what I'm saying.
For instance, the British system and the American system sees it as bribery. Why? Because the company that is offering its product is not the only company that is into that business. The fact that they are paying an all-expense trip to your technical team and giving them $5,000 is recipe for compromise. What report do you think they will bring to you? They will certainly bring a report that will favor the company.
No.
Why not?
No. Why not? The plant, because it was a slightly used plant,
it even makes it more dangerous.
Yes.
A slightly used plant.
And that was the more reason why I needed my technical people to go there.
But you had to fund them.
Please, listen to me. Okay. We contracted them for 5 years. The plant, they certified, and I trust the people I sent.
Okay.
They certified that the plant was good. The plant has been in Ghana. The 5 years is done the 5 years. It still has enough useful life for the MPP government to contract it again.
Your point is that it is technically fit.
Absolutely.
So even if they made any money out of it,
no, I mean,
the fact that it is technically fit justifies it. Is that what you're saying?
Excuse me. What is 5,000? Excuse my language, and don't get me wrong.
Okay.
What is 5,000 in terms of per diem?
But it depends on who is taking that money.
No. In terms of per diem, it's officially sanctioned.
For a minister, $5,000 may not be a big deal.
No.
But for a technical man...
Please, when we talk of a technical man, I'm not talking of a Fitat Swami. The team was led by Francis Jatta. I will mention the name. Francis Jatta had worked in the petroleum industry, had worked for President Kufuor, had worked for me.
How many days did they spend in Turkey?
Well, off my head today, I don't know. You asked me. Off my head, I won't remember, but at least they would have spent about 10 days.
10 days for $5,000 per diem, which means that every day $5,000?
No.
What was the arrangement? You said it is in the contract.
The 5,000.
What was the specific arrangement?
Ask your man if he told me he was going to discuss this. I could have brought the contract. It wasn't that. Okay. The 5,000 was for the whole stay there.
It was 5,000 for the entire 10 days.
Yes, for each one of them.
Who are the MOP girls?
This is
they should tell me.
FM.
The indictment document refers to email discussions with Ghanaian officials indicating bribing women within your ministry. And your ministry is the only ministry of that sector ever Christian Ministry of Power. Who, and we're talking about, the report talks about Ministry of Power girls who had to be bribed for useful information. Who are these Ministry of Power girls?
First of all, this is not a fact. It's an allegation. Okay. Let's put that right, in the right perspective.
That's fair.
Yes. 2, until they are named, how will I know? You are a minister of power.
You have girls in your ministry.
You have women.
Women. Okay.
We don't employ girls. Women.
I get you.
Yes. More than 100. How will I know? How factual the allegation even is.
They refer to email exchanges.
Well, until I know which individuals. Until I know.
Did you know Asante Belko?
No, I didn't know him. I got to know him later.
Did you ever meet him personally?
No.
Never?
No. I said I got to know him later. After I left office.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So when he became the managing director of TOR, I met him. And then even after I left office, he came as part of an AXA delegation. At that time, I wouldn't know him. I wouldn't know. And it is important we keep this in perspective.
Okay.
Somebody says, I took money from you. I've gone to see government officials. Is the person saying? No, it has happened a number of times. Oh, give me this. I'm going to see this person. How?
But this is not Belko saying.
No.
This is the FBI.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How sure are you that the money actually went to the person?
You can't be sure. But this is not Belko. This is not Asante Belko saying. But this is the FBI indicating their investigations have proven that
did they talk to me, for example?
They didn't talk to you.
Yes. And I don't think they
But I'm asking you because you were the minister at the time.
No, yes. It's possible it's possible that the gentleman told his employers, no.
Okay.
His employers that I need this amount to go and see this and that person. It's possible. But from our end, and anybody who has been in...
But you confirm that $5,000 at least was given as per year by the company. So that one is confirmed.
No,
or that one is an agreement, so that is treated differently.
No. Let me confirm this.
Okay.
That AXA, not Asante Bediatu.
Okay. No Bediatu. Asante Beko.
Not Asante Beko. AXA, as part of the contract negotiation, sent our technical team, to go and inspect the plant, get the plant run for a number of days for them to be sure this is a good plant. And they bore the cost of that transportation. That, yes, I can confirm.
Was it open to other companies? Was the opportunity to provide us that machine or that plant opened to other companies to bid? First of all, there are a few companies
in the sector who will come and offer.
Okay.
And that also, it was an emergency power purchase agreement.
Okay.
But it went to PPA, it went to cabinet, it went to parliament.
Okay. It satisfied the procurement requirements.
Precisely.
Okay. Very interesting one. Well, many Dr. Kwabena Donko na Edin Komo ene ewe check with your time 16 gone past 3. Na Nkomo Edin fansem bebre ho. The technical nature of community no twi na ye bibia wo ho. Tena mo de beche me because some me kra me try say me breaking it down a ahwe beje time ni nyina. Entina wo say ye cost street na Edin Komo no brofo mu. Now, Honorable, responding to a number of issues within the power sector and all of that. Honorable, what will be the outlook for the next government in terms of our power sector?
Well,
are we in a good place?
No. Unfortunately, no. You see, we have fundamental issues that we are not addressing.
Okay.
Arising out of excessive partisanship. In the power sector, your payables of ECG, of Gridco, of VRA, of Bui Power, the payables are dollar denominated.
Okay.
Your receivables are CD denominated. When you have such an excessive depreciation of the CD, it will have serious ripple effects on your financial position. So as we speak, we are under recovering cost. If you put in 100 CDs and you get 90 CDs, you are under recovering cost.
You have to hit 100 or beyond.
100 and more. If you hit 100, how do you pay for your admin expenses?
You're virtually breaking even. No extra.
You are not breaking even because you haven't factored in your administrative cost.
Okay.
And that is the challenge of the power sector. If the CD was stable, then of course it gives you a lot of room because the tariff would then be stable.
Okay.
But the tariff is playing catch up. Then again, the state is the sole shareholder of ECG, for example.
That's right.
ECG is losing 30% of the power they purchase.
It has never improved.
30%.
The situation of power loss has never improved.
So which product will you buy? You buy a product for 100 CDs, and even before you sell,
about 70 is gone.
30 is gone. So you now have 70
left
to pay for the 100. What markup will you be given to cover that discrepancy?
And that is a major contribution to
yes. So those are the issues I will prefer that we discuss as a people.
What steps did you take towards reducing the losses of ECG while you were Minister of Power?
At the time I left, ECG's losses were at about 21%.
This is happy.
They've ballooned since I've left.
What did you do? Are there specific things?
Yes, first of all, You see, we went to sign a compact. In fact, that was the reason why President Atamils and Vice President Mahama directed that the compact should be used to address the challenges of distribution, which is basically ECG distribution. Because you are the sole shareholder. Today, technology is there to reduce losses, but technology will involve serious investment.
That's true.
Do you have the money to invest?
Obviously not.
Not. So you have to, because if you take the ECG losses, they can be broken into two. There are the technical losses, and then there are the commercial losses. The technical losses, as you use obsolete equipment, as you wheel power over distances, as your transformers get old and outmoded and past their sell-by date, their level of efficiency reduces. So your losses increase. And the solution to that is investment. Replace the transformers, replace your cables, replace your boundary meters. Let me give you a good example that most Ghanaians can associate with. Ordinarily, if you take the meter, electricity meter in your house, it should be calibrated every 5 years or replaced. There are meters people have used for 20 years.
That's true. They are certainly not efficient now.
Yes. And so those meters are generally under recording. So if they remove it today and replace it with a brand new meter, you see, hey, that's what this meter, it runs like Usain Bolt. It's just because previously your meter was under reading.
So that would be what, commercial loss to ECG?
Yes, that's a commercial loss. That is one. Then there is plain thievery, Ghanaian stealing power.
That is clear and real as well.
People steal power, illegal connection by factories, by businesses, by individuals. It's plain thievery. There's no more decorous word I can use than plain thievery. So there is but thievery can be minimized with technology. But technology will also need investment.
We haven't done much as a country to strengthen ECG. The proposal over the years have been private interests. We attempted it with PDS. It went very bad.
It went bad because of greed.
Because of greed.
Yeah, and I'll say
would it have been a good approach?
Yes. We had two options under the American Compact. Either privatization of ECG or concession. The concession system.
And what would be the difference?
I went to cabinet and I proposed the concession system. Privatization would mean actually selling shares in ECG. Others taking equity in ECG. Concession means leasing part of the operations. But ECG will still own 100% of everything. So we took the concession option to cabinet. Cabinet approved. We brought to parliament. Blah blah blah. At that time, the foreign investor, you see, Compact. The Americans were to bring Millennium Corporation was to bring in $500 million. The investor was also to bring in $500 million. So with $1 billion put into ECG, put into the distribution networks, transformers, substations, do that, we would have seen vast improvement.
So what part of ECG were you giving out on concession?
It's the operation.
The operation.
Not the asset. Then, just before we concluded that, Ghanaians decided to kick us out. And they brought in another group. MPP came. In the concession, our proposer agreed with Millennium Challenge Corporation, MEDA, was that in that concession, the foreign company could have 80% equity in that concession. A Ghanaian company could have minimum 20%. Because a foreign company was to bring in the $500 million. They were to bring in their know-how. and also to bring in the brand. MPP came, ill-advised. They decided to change. The Ghanaian company must have 51% shares and the foreign company 49%. So all the big boys who had lined up and who had gone through all the pulled out. Because once you become a minority shareholder, you've lost boardroom control. And then you are expected to bring $500 million to invest when you don't have boardroom control.
This is happy.
So and that's why I say it's greed. And then they brought in, they quickly cobbled something together and called it PDS with the Filipino. And then the challenge came. PDS did not even meet the guarantee that was needed. PDS, they virtually breached all the rules for PDS. And let me say this, the positive thing, even for PDS, they did, well, within the short time they were in charge, receivables, payment improved, their collection from customers improved. Let me give them that credit. And port reporting also improved.
What is port reporting?
For example,
fault reporting.
Yes, you have a fault report.
Yeah.
The time they get you improved.
Okay.
Those things improved. And
so actually PDS brought in some level of efficiency
for
in
the short
terms of
period they were there. Yes.
And fault reporting.
Yes. They brought in, it improved.
Okay.
But nowhere near what would have been if we had gone through
the concession,
the proper thing.
Okay.
Then between the shareholders of PDS and whoever their sponsors were, a fight broke out. And so that was also terminated. And that's why I say it's greed.
Should we go back to the concession approach to empowering ECG? Or you think the circumstances have changed now?
ECG as it is today, ECG's losses in 2022 were over 10 billion cedis losses. We are
10 billion?
Yes.
This is not sustainable.
Absolutely. And so the NDC, if the people of Ghana vote us into power, at least at our level, at the policy level, the work we have done, we are coming out with some solutions that will address the short-term challenges of collection.
Okay.
You see, if you sell and you are not able to collect, there's a challenge.
Okay.
As to whether the tariff administration is another business. If the CD becomes more stable, we'll have a bit more stability in our tariff administration.
Okay. But you can't promise that as a party, stability of the CD. Can the NDC promise us?
What I can say, and I'm not on the NDC Finance Committee, that is the caveat. But what I can say is that the NDC, at the macroeconomic level, will do better, will perform better.
But because of your limitation, you can't stick your neck out to say that the NDC will give us a more stable exchange rate.
Oh, no, that's what I've just said. We will do better.
You do better.
It will do better than...
That's vague.
Yes.
It could just be just a point difference.
It's still better.
Ghanaians want the best.
Of course. So first of all, Ghanaians have to vote for the better party and then demand from that party better performance.
What do you make of a lithium mining agreement? Is this, does it reflect what the minister says that indeed this is a marked improvement in terms of mining leases?
Well, it depends on which school. If you are, which school you are coming from. If you are from the leftist school, your response will be different. And then we are from the righty school. If it's
what school are you from?
If it's business as usual.
Okay.
If it's business as usual, then what the minister said is factually correct. If it's business as usual.
So this is business as usual.
Listen to me. Let me. If it's business as usual, what the minister said is correct. That the terms nominally are better. If it's business as usual. If we want a different model,
This is Happy
that will put more value and use lithium as a multiplier in the Ghanaian economy, then that model, then what the minister said, we can do better. So it depends on the model.
This agreement came to your committee, right?
Yes. But it comes under a certain law. So on the basis
does
of
that limit you?
Yeah, on the basis of the mineral and mining law, yes, then it's an improvement.
What argument
But there
did
is
you make?
Policy.
What argument did you make on behalf of the people of Pro Eastern Ghana before your committee when this lithium agreement came? What was your position?
By the way, the agreement has not been ratified yet.
Okay.
Let's get that right.
I want to, at the committee level, I mean.
No. There were differences in opinion.
Okay.
First of all, in law or agreements emanate from policy. What is the government's policy? What is the government's direction? Let me also throw in this. The price for lithium on the world market has fallen by about 60% within the last 4 years.
Okay.
Let's also recognize that.
Why would that happen when lithium appears to be a major global raw material?
No, other new materials have been discovered to make batteries.
Okay.
And initially...
and they are more efficient than lithium?
Yes.
Okay.
And not just that, a lot more lithium mines or lithium deposits have been discovered
elsewhere,
apart from Ghana, across the world.
Okay.
Across the world, and the forces of demand and supply will also play a role. However, just like clay, we have clay in Ghana.
This is
depending on what we want to do with clay. If we want to use clay for blocks, the approach will be different.
Okay.
If we want to use clay for ceramics, the approach will be different. So what the challenge we have here is policy.
Okay.
What is our national policy on minerals? What is our national policy on minerals?
Do we have?
Well, we have law, so we must have policy. However, is that adequate for what we want to do?
But are laws policies in themselves?
No, laws emanate from policy.
So
laws
I asked you a direct question. Do we have the policy as you question?
Policy is always updated. But I think what we have today needs to be updated.
Okay. It's old school. It is not relevant.
Depending on, you see, development, and development is my first love. Development starts from the mind. What is it that we want to do as a nation? Let me give you an example let me use India and China. And then I will use Singapore. India and China decided to close off their commercial space to allow indigenous companies to grow to some level before opening up. Are we prepared to do that? In the Ghanaian polity, are we prepared to do that? Do we have the nerve to do that?
Don't we?
I don't think so. Other than we will not be importing toothpick.
That is a weakness on the part of leadership, which you all share in.
Again, it's only half of the story. Leadership reflects the values of the society, of the people.
Happy FM.
So we are same as our leaders.
Precisely. Because we elect people who represent our values. Unfortunately, look, in the last district assembly election, in my district, assemblymen were telling me that when they went house to house to campaign people were asking them, what did you bring? The job is unpaid. So if you go and elect people because of what they brought, what values are you espousing?
But I'm sure...
I'm not saying leaders are not responsible.
Yeah,
I'm not absorbing.
But I'm
it's
sure,
a collective fault we have.
But I'm sure that is as a result of what the political class have fed the people over the years. Disappointment. And they see you, the political class, living fat, enjoying all the largesse of public office and all of that. So what do you think they do?
Let me give you.
I made this man an MP, and today he's doing so well. But my road is still bad.
Let me tell you.
What do you think that constitutes?
Let me tell you something. I have become poorer for being an MP.
Really?
Yes. And there are a number of MPs who have become poorer. Let me give you a specific example.
I'm all ears.
I was deputy minister for energy in charge of petroleum under Professor Mills. Professor Mills removed me. But I knew that he had asked me to go and create a petroleum commission.
Okay.
The public didn't know that. Within a month of leaving the ministry as deputy minister, I got an offer to be a country representative for an oil company in charge of West Africa for $30,000 a month.
That was juicy.
Yes.
You didn't go for it?
I didn't go because Professor Mills had told me, and I'm far more committed to Ghana than to money.
Okay.
So I waited and then went to establish the Petroleum Commission.
This is Happy FM.
So it is not, I'm not saying the political class is not responsible. But we have not, some of us could have been making far more money outside politics. You'll find people with basically no school certificate in recent times. Somebody is given a $34 million contract to supply spare parts. What competence does that person possess? And on that contract, that person will make at least $10 million. That person is not a politician. She's not a politician.
But the political class creates such environment for people.
So it is not just, we have a collective responsibility. We have a collective shortcoming until we accept that we elect people who reflect our values and that the change must begin with us as well as our leaders. We are not going anywhere. We'll be running in circles.
How do you assess this parliament you are part of? This is a hang parliament.
Yes.
Ghanaians had huge expectations of this parliament. If you listen to civil society, at the time the parliament was sworn in, they had high hopes.
Yes.
That if all goes well, this parliament should be able to deliver to the people of Ghana the best in terms of representation. Are you impressed with what you have used the hang parliament for?
We could have done far better. We could have done better. But the constraints, are our party structures.
Party structures?
Yes.
Tell me about
For
that.
example, when there's a party position and there's a 3-line whip, and you disobey the party position, the party can withdraw its whip on you. And by constitution, you have to leave parliament.
So then there will be a by-election.
You come to parliament on the ticket of the party. The party gives you a letter to go to electoral commission to be registered,
but upon becoming a member of parliament, you represent the entirety of the constituency.
Yes, but the party can still withdraw that letter. So it's one of the constitutional amendments we should be looking at. The structural problems. Yes, we've operated the constitution for 30 years. It has served us well, but we have seen faults with it.
But how does that work when an individual can go to parliament on his own accord?
Yes.
Without going through a political party?
Precisely.
Yet you go on the ticket of a party and there are these constraints hanging on you.
How many independents are in parliament?
Certainly
just one.
Yes. Even that, the circumstances are clear. But the point is that the constitutional arrangement is such that
it's what we should look at again.
You ought to be free when you are representing the people and not to be on the apron strings of your political party. Because you represent a people.
Yeah, but the constitution itself creates conditions that you are sponsored by the party And if the party, you can't cross carpet. Yes. So if you came in as NDC MP, you can't become an independent MP.
No way.
Let alone go to MPP or vice versa.
But if you came in as an independent, you can choose where to sit.
No, even then you can caucus with one. You cannot join.
Okay.
Yeah, they are different.
You can't join
the independent MP member of parliament cannot join MPP as an MPP MP. But he can caucus with them.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay.
So, yes, we were all excited, but we all forgot the party whips, that the two parties held these swords over our heads.
This is Happy FM.
Is that unseen hand that worked in instances of certain taxes and levies passed in Parliament? Because one would have thought that today the minority is lamenting over taxes like COVID-19 levy.
Yeah.
We're lamenting over e-levy. We're lamenting over taxes, that sanitation levy and all of that. Some which even appear to be multiple taxation.
Yeah. Yes, but they've been...
And you had the opportunity in Parliament to kick out these levies with your numbers.
Ghanaians gave us 138, 137. And in Parliament, we win by a simple majority. Those are not entrenched.
You didn't put up a strong fight for the people of Ghana, did you?
Why? We got all our votes, but they were more than us by one.
In some instances, you had to stage a walkout.
Yes, because
this is
if the three-line whip is drawn there, and they are 138, you are 137, you just need a simple majority. So notwithstanding the arguments you marshal, notwithstanding the force of your argument, if they get all their 138 members in the chamber, you've lost.
If one describes this hang parliament as disappointing, what would be your response?
I would say that would be too harsh. We forced them to moderate certain things. If you take even the e-levy, for example, we were totally against it. Eventually, when they saw the level of resistance, they brought the figure down. We would have preferred not to have it at all.
But if you could work to bring the figure down, you could have asked for more.
No. Ultimately, it was not just us, but it was civil society. You see, where were Ghanaians when they were... Excuse me.
You even went ahead to approve appointees you spoke against. With your numbers, you still did so.
I thought we're just talking about...
I'm talking about Parliament, the hang Parliament. Even instances where...
Yes. Secret ballot. The power of secret ballot.
That's also a limitation.
It's a limitation, but it's also good. It has its positive side, it has its low. You see, but let me also now ask you, where is the media today? Where are Ghanaians today? When we were introducing VAT, the Kumi Precons, wasn't it by Parliament?
No.
The streets. So where are the streets today?
So what? You're shirking your responsibility.
I am not shirking.
And throwing it at us.
I'm not shirking.
We should fight for ourselves.
It's a collective responsibility. There is a limit to what MPs can do.
That we spend on you to do more for us.
Excuse me. There's a limit to what MPs can do with 137 against 138. We will articulate all the aspirations. But at the end of the day, Kenya, the recent Kenya example, it wasn't in Parliament. The streets spoke. The streets spoke.
And we may get there.
No, if the streets are speaking for the good of the country, I'm all for it.
But you may be victims if the streets speak the way the Kenyan youth spoke.
You see, the collective is always more important than the individual.
Okay.
The collective is always more important than the individual. Why have the streets gone quiet?
Recently,
if NDC was in power, the streets and doing same, the streets will have...
It comes back to the point you earlier made, that majority of the middle class appear to favor the NPP than the NDC.
Yes, they are instinctively pro-MPP.
But that signifies a problem with your party, the NDC. Why do you think majority of the middle class are instinctively pro-NPP and not pro-NDC? What is fundamentally wrong with the NDC?
Of course, I will not discount our antecedents.
Okay.
Historical antecedents. Okay. We came out of a revolution, and some people will still have issues with that. But more importantly, the Ghanaian middle class, especially with our level of poverty, has a better organizing ability than the working class.
Okay.
Especially when you are still operating a near peasant economy, an informal economy.
That's an interesting way of describing Ghana's economy, a near peasant economy.
Absolutely.
That is very far away from a formal economy.
Yes.
Very far away.
Yeah. If you look at our employment records, how many people are in the informal sector? They far outnumber those in the formal sector. If you look at the composition of our export trade, in 1921, 3 commodities accounted for about 90% of all our export earnings: cocoa, timber, gold. 2023, 3 commodities account for over 70% of our export earnings: cocoa, gold, crude oil. And the similarity is that both are exported in their near raw state.
Yeah.
So what has really changed?
Nothing. What does the NDC promise in terms of value addition to our raw materials?
Wait for our manifesto.
This is Happy.
Give me a hint. I would appreciate a hint.
No, we will look at agricultural value addition. They are likely to be processing zones.
Okay.
We will look at that.
If somebody says, I mean, and I'm sure you hear this being a politician, that John Mahama is not coming to do anything new. Whatever you say you want to do, you had the opportunity to. What is that guarantee that which you say you will do, you will indeed?
First of all, John Mahama did not introduce COVID tax. And long after COVID, the tax is still there. John Mahama did not promise that he will move the economy from taxation to production. John Mahama did not say we are a proud people who will never go to IMF. But we went. John Mahama did not say we're going to wean ourselves off borrowing. And today we've borrowed at record levels never seen in the annals of Ghana's political history. So John Mahama, when times were tough, John Mahama said times were tough. John Mahama did not promise what he didn't deliver. John Mahama's progress might have been slow, but he kept his word. Look at infrastructure. Productive infrastructure.
This is Happy FM.
And having been out of power for 8 years, not just John Mahama, the NDC has learnt a few things. The NDC is better prepared. The NDC is better motivated because it is now so clear that the salvation of Ghana within the current political arrangement lies with the NDC. Within the current political arrangement, let me emphasize that, where we have a near two-party state, the NDC is more sensitive to the plight of the people. And the NDC represents the weaklings, represents the unconnected, represents the youth, and better represents even the unborn.
This is Happy FM. Epahwada Bay.
98.9 FM Epahwa da ben dwumadi ne me guest na awia Dr. Kwabena Donko, or a member of parliament Emma Pro East constituency on the ticket of the NDC. Certainly in 2024 you won't be on the ballot as a parliamentary candidate because of your primaries. But again I feel parliament
there are positive sides to parliament, the learning opportunities for those who want to learn. The consensus that sometimes we reach, particularly at committee.
Okay.
You see, the difficult thing about parliament is that about 70% of the work, if not more, of parliament is done at committees. At that point, there is a lot of cross-fertilization of ideas.
Okay.
The plenary
This is Happy FM.
It's not the same. Let me choose my words carefully. The plenary is not the same. So I will miss the committee level work.
You miss the committee level
work. That's where the hard work takes place. What I will not miss are all the other things.
Like what?
Like being insulted almost on a daily basis.
Does that get to you?
Oh, it does. You are human. You are human.
But I thought as politicians you develop a thick skin.
You see, some of us did not start out as politicians. We started as nationalists when we joined the PNDC. We really believe we could change the world. So this became a progression by default. And for me, I still look for a Ghana where meritocracy, a Ghana where nationalism will underpin our politics, a Ghana where integrity will matter, a Ghana where we can be creative, use our intellectual ability to resolve problems, a Ghana where we can carry everyone along. That is the Ghana I look for.
And then after Sema Olusu primary.
Well, the delegates of Pro East chose somebody else, and I think that's enough. The NDC delegates.
Representation.
Well, that is left for posterity.
Okay. And then wait your constituency. Since 2013, I'm sure you've made an impact.
Well, at least I brought the name of Pro East to the mainstream.
Is that an achievement?
Well, it depends on who is looking at it.
You consider that as an achievement?
It depends.
Anyone could be an improvist.
It depends. You see, it's not about me. That is why I am hesitant to answer. I am not the type who wants to speak about himself.
Okay.
It's about the collective.
You've been stressing on the collective.
Yeah, for me, as individuals, we are nothing. Look, I went to school in the University of Bristol with people from various nationalities. And then you realize that people will disrespect you because your country is underdeveloped. Intellectually, you are smarter than him. I lectured at the University of Bristol. I went to Lancaster to do my management studies. These are not your equals. But because you come from a poor country, you are disrespected. So no matter what you achieve as an individual, as long as your country does not develop, your country remains undeveloped, you will be disrespected.
This is Happy.
We got our independence before Singapore. We're at about the same stage as Malaysia. In fact, at independence, South Korea, we're at par. Today we go to them for loans. would people respect us?
But what is significant to Munina and say at least another for Republic Kenya, a very stable political environment. NPP ni NDC with the Ghana more. When Timian Peja Ghana and do baby was say edu. Obejatum.
No. We've had our successes. We've had our successes. Yeah, we've had our failures. I acknowledge our failure. We've also had our successes. I went for a conference.
But your successes enough to give us global respect.
Yeah, I went for a conference in Houston, an oil conference. Okay. And then I met, there was the African Chamber, one of the, somebody asked me, you Ghanaians, so are you saying a government in power, come on 100,000 votes, they couldn't steal? This was the Tamale's victory. May his soul rest in peace. The common 100,000 votes. You couldn't steal.
Oh
yes.
From another African country.
African countries. And somebody said, in their country, government in power.
You see that?
Impossible. So at least at that day, I felt very proud that at least we are doing something different. But since then, we have retrogressed, especially under this president. I am an NDC person. I had some expectation.
Okay.
That at least you will lift the country up to a certain level for us to come and continue. But when you seem to have retrogressed in a number of areas, as a Ghanaian, I'm sad. Even as an NDC person, I am sad because it makes the work far more difficult. The lower you are in the pit, the more difficult whoever is trying to bring you out of the pit will go through.
The next government will experience Dumsana.
I don't want to be I'm not trained to be a prophet, but I see challenges in the power sector and the need for a complete radical restructuring.
Challenges a bit made Dumsa baby.
Well, depends on how we handle it. For example,
NDC
it depends. It depends
on what?
It depends on the element. I don't expect us to go back to load shedding under an NDC regime. I don't expect us to go to load shedding under NDC regime. But in life, you never say never. My prognosis is that the next NDC regime will have the courage to take the decisions that may be unpopular. One of the things that we see in the energy or power sector is that as a people, we are extremely wasteful. We are extremely wasteful of power.
We are
extremely wasteful. And so the next NDC government will have to introduce some measures. For example,
Minister of Power, John Mahama as president, Eka say ministries, departments, and agencies ebe use prepaid meters. Basically, a good number of MMDAs are still using old meters.
Well, when I was Minister of Power in 2015, I put the Ministry of Power on prepaid, and it's still on prepaid.
But you could have done that for other ministries because you're the Minister of Power.
Well, I stayed for a year. Don't forget.
How much of a work to say, oh, you're Minister of Power?
I know the Ministry of Finance is on prepaid today. I know a number of ministries are on prepaid today. But I also know that not all ministries.
But we should be able to.
We should. And look, one of the most wasteful places in terms of power is Parliament.
Sir?
And I've said it.
No wasting power.
I've said it. It's an attitude problem. It's an investment problem. For example, you go to corridors. There's no one the lights are on. It just takes a little investment in sensor.
Yeah, motion sensor lights.
Motion sensor lights. Yes. Ultimately, you will save power. But again, it's the mindset. Are we prepared to invest?
Doc, how did you solve them so?
We solved load shedding. I won't say we.
Because you as a government, as a collective government.
Because it's a collective.
Okay.
We had the support of the president. We had the support of the technical people.
Most of all,
ECG. First of all, at that time, our biggest challenge was capacity.
Okay. We
didn't have enough generating capacity. That will resolve because, you see, once you have growth on an annual basis, and this is so important, you will constantly have to be on your toes. The capacity we built in 2015 was more than adequate for 2015-2016 because we put in a redundancy, a reserve margin. But if you go to sleep on the job, 3 years, 4 years, it will not be enough.
It is saying I'm so.
Well, we brought in additional generating plants. We brought in policy that favored efficiency. For example, if you take the TICO retrofit, if you take TAPCO, we brought in combined cycle plants.
Well, what is the President Kufuor say? Or no be solve so. So what is that? What's then?
Well, just that he's been misinformed.
Misinformed?
Yes. You cannot have excess capacity on one hand, and on the other hand, you say you solved it. You see, when it comes to excess capacity charge, you only pay when the
excess capacity.
Excuse me. You only pay when the plant is available and it's running. So there are contradictions. You cannot have the negative and the positive as one. If you say we created excess capacity for you and that was a challenge, then it means you had more power than you needed. And if you had more power than you needed, then it can't be that you solved the load shedding problem. You can't eat your cake and have it. And it is a dynamism. Let's not forget that. And that the solution yesterday will not be the solution tomorrow because of growth. So if you resolved it yesterday and you go to sleep, tomorrow you will face it.
How many years? Excess capacity na mujaye no.
We didn't leave excess capacity. Let me tell you something else.
You didn't leave excess capacity.
Let me tell you something else. Under Professor Mills and John Mahama, it was state policy that we should become a major exporter of power. A major exporter of power. So if we created the conditions and power availability to be exported, and you come and you don't follow up to increase your exports, do you turn around to blame us? We are sitting bang in the middle of the West African sub-region. We have the West Africa power pool arrangement. It's almost equidistant to the east and to the west. We sit right in the middle, the West African power pool. We should be exporting far more power than we are doing today.
Now then, also excess capacity.
The power.
But you made that point severally this afternoon.
First of all, we generated enough to have a reserve margin. If it's the reserve margin that we are calling excess, then it's technically wrong.
Okay.
We left enough to increase our exports. If we did not increase the exports, then we cannot be blamed. That is what. So what they call excess capacity is a reserve margin. It's an opportunity to export that they went to sleep on. Should I be blamed?
Dr. Kwabena Donko, Yebabewie, Speaker of Parliament, who the leadership saying. Now, no, a colleague, Honorable Munta Kamubarak said, as a speaker, why are you a tyrant, kakra? As a dictatorship will be burning.
I have no opinion on that.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
But you sit under the leadership of the speaker. Do you enjoy him?
We judge people differently.
So how do you judge him?
I want that to be personal.
My listeners are interested.
They see him on TV. They can also make up their opinions.
What's your opinion of him?
It's personal. It's personal. I will let each one assess him.
Nano Osake said he also MP. Was that cool?
What do you mean by he's sacked?
Yeah, that's a word he actually used.
No. What do you mean?
Opamoni free chamber name.
Did he ask him to walk out or he sacked him from Parliament?
He sacked him from the chamber.
Was he in Parliament the next day?
He was.
Okay. So
he sacked him from the chamber. From the chamber.
He asked him to walk out.
Okay.
For a day.
Opamoni free chamber ni mana.
He asked him to walk out.
I said just wapamono.
He walk out. We're speaking English. You perfectly understand.
If I walk somebody out of this studio,
yes,
my permanent free studio
for the session, for the day.
Yeah, so it happened.
Yes.
Me can't say what permanent from Parliament.
No. You see, the speaker or whoever is presiding can always, subject to some
standing orders,
conditions in our standing orders, ask you to leave the chamber.
And I mean, Busa said, Net was saying, okay, it may sit within your standing orders, but anka ubefane saying.
Ordinarily, nobody will be happy being asked to walk out, just as even in school, in primary school.
Yeah.
A teacher will always ask me to walk out.
I don't know Busa questions,
So, and you won't be happy. But sometimes you then go and reflect and say, okay, this was what caused that. So next time, okay, I will handle things differently. And it's a learning process for all of us.
That's true. NDC be retaining pro Easter Kunyana.
NDC will win the next election.
NDC be retaining pro Easter Kunyano.
NDC will win the next election.
Presidential.
The next election and hold down all its parliamentary seats.
Including Pro East.
All means all.
And then I'm person will become Pro East as honorable. Issues or Hana.
There are issues in every constituency and in every home. There are issues. But it depends on the type of issues and how the issues are addressed.
Ulusu Primary Cinema adopted this approach and I said and it has always been so, say you don't want to talk about your constituency.
I don't. You see, I hate self aggrandizement. I hate it. Let others judge your performance.
Your campaign ama NDC candidate na or Pro East no. Your campaign man.
I'm campaigning for NDC.
When na ko campaign da? Candidate. Momo candidate no. NDC candidate in Pro East. When na ko campaign da?
No candidate has been filed yet.
Okay.
With the AC.
But you have a parliamentary candidate. Our winning primaries.
No one is a parliamentary candidate yet.
Okay, so you have a parliamentary. You have a hopeful. Winning NDC primaries. What is your campaign?
I've just told you we haven't filed with the Electoral Commission.
But what your campaign? I'm not winning your primaries and won't file it. So now your campaign.
I've told you we have not filed with the Electoral Commission. If we file with the Electoral Commission, I'll campaign for my party's candidate.
Dr. Kwabena Donko, Ediana Ghana from Kaiwo as you exit this parliament.
Oh, I don't want to be remembered.
Why?
There are more important things for Ghana to remember. The interest of the collective must always be paramount. It's not about self, it's about Ghana. My desire to see Ghana develop, my desire is to see Ghana emerge as the black star of Africa, and my desire is to see Ghana straddle the world stage in full color.
Dr. Kwabena Donko, I am grateful for your time this afternoon. Happy FM Dasi Papa.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed this moment. Dr. Kwabena Donko has been my guest. Happy 98.9 FM. A panwa da benju medie eni.
Baby, when you say first na ye binu ye shut down politics. You see politics for no money or money and your but na mumu ebinu so nti enyina ye ni agi say ye bebo ama o man na koso na ebo 1 o'clock pe na wa ye lawyer ama o man na lawyer for enyina pon akofi akoda nyamishra
Panwa da ben.
Darling.
Yes.
Ye bedidi na meche angel cola. Me bread obi fa angel cola drink. Na ni yonku eyi angel orange. Ana angel mango. Ose me san pedi obi eyi. Aka me dem.
Sese obi ape angel soft drinks ni nyina bi.
Ai, daddy, me say me penny na bi.
Sister, wo dear mama angel peach, angel strawberry, and na angel cocktail. Actually, no matter angel apple lime.
What ye? Sanya from my dear. Miss Angel Cola, any angel orange, and a mania. I feel and
It's also from wifey. For us, Chester, no, Ebesia. Never angel drinks in a room. Obianca Tan in Winnie. There was Sabbath mono, no anum.
Ali, that's a massa. And no, I don't know.
There be a sunny and no.
Angel Cola, the Assembly. Angel drinks here. I'm in my bush. I don't call soft drinks beverages limited. And why? Who to do after one? 0244 83 22 86 and 050 78 78 668.
Angel drinks.
Taste like our day.
FDA ajeje de nkrato yatum.
Get ready to soar the skies of Rwanda. Business in Kigali, shopping in Johannesburg, or vacation in Paris. Experience our vast destination network and proud fleet and award-winning service. Whether you are a new traveler planning your next escape, Rwanda guarantees unmatched comfort and a sky-spanning network. Book your next flight today at rwandair.com or reach us via email at sales.accra@rwandair.com. Call us at +233 0598 760 645 or +233 0598 797 194 or visit your nearest travel agents.
Rwanda, fly the dream of Africa.
Mira, na de na ofre adwuma ba ya se waye bosanse. E de asemwa.
Bi ne hwe mafo kwa na ekwo wo mo animu. Bosia kra me pedi am ye de abobra so a. Menya bi.
NDC. Eclipse Collateral Management for Abamaye. Waye Prime Brokerage Service. Na no se de etie nie. So we japade na wo ho nkrata. Wutumi de nkrata ne beja Eclipse Collateral Management. Na so bi so we japade ebia na ne nkrata no animu anom. Na ope bosia. Ye de wo nkrata ne yensi achi ba manipa no ejibosia etua ehon faso ma wo ankrata ne ye wo de ani di free
ne se woni akura ntie
emane ha okra esan se wono so wo ajapade a wo de ba yenti no eno na bank de beton gwabra won kwo wo de ne ho kra
na kire sa men krata dadem no ebetumi ama menya sika wobra majapade no ehon nka
sapepepe ubehu Eclipse Collateral Management ewa Denta Pantai Junction at Denta new site wa 0543 232466. Eclipse Collateral Management. Think safety and decent income. Mira, na de na ofre adwuma ba ya se waye bosanse. E de asemwa.
Bi ne hwe mafo kwa na ekwo wo mo animu. Bosia kra me pedi am ye de abobra so a. Menya bi.
NDC. Eclipse Collateral Management for Abamaye. Waye Prime Brokerage Service. Na no se de etie nie. So we japade na wo ho nkrata. Wutumi de nkrata ne beja Eclipse Collateral Management. Na so bi so we japade ebia na ne nkrata no animu anom. Na ope bosia. Ye de wo nkrata ne yensi achi ba manipa no ejibosia etua ehon faso ma wo ankrata ne ye wo de ani di free
ne se woni akura ntie
emane ha okra esan se wono so wo ajapade a wo de ba yenti no eno na bank de beton gwabra won kwo wo de ne ho kra
na kire sa men krata dadem no ebetumi ama menya sika wobra majapade no ehon nka
sapepepe ubehu Eclipse Collateral Management ewa Denta Pantai Junction at Denta new site wa 0543 83 232466. Eclipse Collateral Management. Think safety and decent income.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers. You could be the luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
east, west, north, south, Obiama to
You could be the luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Accra to Paga.
Let's go. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers. The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Epahuada bem. Epahuada bem ti sinupi na nokre eye baako pe.
.9 FM Epahuada ben Jumedie enie mabedwafo atena se Fifi Deka is representing the New Patriotic Party aje nedwa Alexander Akoko enso representing the NDC a 3-time parliamentary candidate Emma Botiano English Amanfro last week Thursday the constituency and I day happy on wheels ekopiemu. Unfortunately the party NDC for amma but then we still had to go on with our show. Ebo Bokman, a member of Movement for Change Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Atina sempeni for mama kwaba.
Yenia.
Mo fanche me se me wia mo time kakra na me ne Dr. Kwamna don kom na emu de
time dey why we
enya mo kranka bi anka me call be copy basics. A question is the be anyway, madam was say we nya me ho abotre. All right. Yen sha say friend NDC campaign launch. Alex. Now what Tamale na went to Manko. Oh, okay.
Na some catch us for almost 2-3 weeks a year nkwana
a year
Manchimian copy. But I think I had the opportunity to monitor it on Facebook. Na make I say the course yepa because na proud to know be more my information so mo akogita my north ni nyina aboso but there see Saturday no HSA jo mo kan nyina no enu kware
sanse no na mamu chusu Tamale o pesa mo chire bibi
say ya chusu a hot dada and sana or call north no say or call here we know but it's just a mere coincidence because believe
but Dr. Bamia's pictures from the north and so na bad videos no
videos no AI
oh how
there no no life wo compare AI expert be a projecting near mama
oh high points here
oh me high points no basically no a speech your chairman Johnson Asidu Nketia MI
open letter
to the president and not only to the president. I think it touched on all the people in Ghana make I say their voice matter
okay
because it touched on the president so per se yentino Ombe out Ombe can be election not on political platform but as a president
I didn't know come for election
Oh, we want to hear because is it the SC 2029? Up to today, President has not come out to apologize to say anything.
This is
concrete, no.
FM.
Yeah, per se, yenti no say obeka because they wish previous elections are president they've come out boldly nation no didn't come on mark say this election no to me biana elections no are free fair and transparent
president on mass
no on the political platform is different because on that same political platform, what can I say? You will do all that you can to make sure, say, Dr. Baumia, what can be bizarre? Yes, you are talking to your political people. We understand. That is the politics aspect. But as a president of the nation, you on this election, it's very, very important. Now,
does timing matter?
Pardon?
Does timing matter? Does it matter when he says this?
Yes, because you see,
because I know said definitely before the election there will be fellow Ghanaians.
No, the thing is that you see, there are measures you put in place for an election. So election is not just an event; it's a process. Na niyama bibri kum ansana the election day.
Tell the easy Juma.
No, media.
Hina president bem
Sikana yisi edi ye Juma no. Eye one and edi man.
President.
You understand me? And he say, wamba out any year amba kasa na ye ben hu bibia oni.
Oh,
Minya,
yes, he's not complaining of.
Oh, yeah, see, Umbra out in time because there are so many things. There are security issues that we need to look at. And it's about the Kasano, and the leaders of our security agencies, they say, oh, President say, and say, na say, you understand? Because he's the commander-in-chief. And I can say, Umbra, because
we have 5 months to an election.
Yes, 4 months, and 5.
And 4 months to an election, President Timber can't die at this time.
Because of the processes now, it will lead to the election. So that everybody who is involved in the processes know, but who say, no, President direction or the ama. Say yen finching na bibia enye pepepe. Anything short of that, no. Obia etumi you say na join ede ye di opebia.
Say kasa na mo pedia sanke ne radio ana.
You see, na president no, one say president sebio wa kofa bibi wo baby say or the year juma be there. President there is kasa na directions, policy directions. Who cannot be at the you understand me? That is why President Ekasa different. He say Ebetran had the BIA can. Say President Ebetran when him not the BIA or Beka Bibia. Obe say no mind no. It's different. President Kasa is a different ball game altogether. And Nutina is called, and I think he called on the Council of Elders. He called on the security agencies, no, that they are hex, no. So he wrote a letter to them. I think the chiefs. Omusunya Peace Council Obianya. And me that speech, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
Yes, but Sena Eba no. Now Kaiga no.
But the usual Sena punchy, the usual Sidun Keti was not in his element.
No, you are talking to elders of our land.
Okay.
So at least I say one for bu emomo. And who tie ne kasana won so say me pamucho. You understand? That tells you that he recognized the power.
Okay.
So he's appealing to them so that all of them will bring their authority together so that we can maintain the peace of this country. Okay. And I think that he did it very beautifully. And it really touched me. Okay. And I was sitting with somebody and said, I see you are spoken as a true leader of our party. And I was so happy with the way Okasaya.
Okay. Any particular thing John Mahama said that say Okawasem and only last one, I mean Kofifio?
Yes, I think most of the things are okay, make I say we've heard it time especially on meeting with the press most of the issues were come, but I think one more thing I think the Women's Bank now one seminar and you can say it will be interest free, especially loans that ranges from.
Free, how do you survive?
Oh yes, it can.
How would the bank survive?
It can survive. I will tell you because every bank will see now which chim. You understand me? Which chim one you can have a 0 interest loans, then you can have interest I mean,
loans attracting interest.
Loans attracting interest, and even some can decide to give grants. And no, they won't you?
Now,
but it depends.
And then I strengthen Maslock. Now you're bypassing not to set up a women's bank. Is it the same purpose in Maslock?
Yes, but the one bank it comes with certain regulations.
Okay.
And it will be under the control of
the BOG.
The BOG. They will be the supervising. Unlike the
Maslock will be at me in your pen.
Maslock no be at me the open. So I believe say your dream mono say going the bank way will help more.
Okay.
And I think I fully also support the bank way, in terms of how the it will run, in terms of call into zero interest, any account, maybe
as we first can when I want to set your bank way.
Oh, see, some of these things, in the long run, it will help the economy.
Yeah, but and
when I mentioned say it will help the economy. So already when we were in power, if you recall, and then it is now Ghana isn't back. We made a proposal, say every port, at least 0.5%.
Okay.
Should be the seed money for Asian. And the time I made me free Asian Bank, so there was another proposal. So HSA. Abaino and Pejano and 0.75%. That is an addition of 0.25%. Up to now, that has not been done because at that time, now there was a sunset Crosby. Is this the Estla or so? That when Estla reaches mature, or Estla yeyi and free now we ever share. Then we can do that. Yeah. So maybe we'll look at all those options, and maybe that extra 0.2 because I'm running with 0.25. Maybe we can bring that one on board. Now best starting.
Yeah. Vivi,
yes, sir.
NDC campaign launch about Seneca. Measures of monetary be. Women's Bank they almost say a farmer omo. Uhuniza.
Bibi, EJT for na yemfe in cha wedding Palma. Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the future of Ghana. This year you decided to say go past, go future. Channel. Na NDC 4 program no me India, Baumia program.
Sir,
I'm born 88 times.
Of course, already main contender.
That's right, 88 times.
Okay.
Yes. I'm about me 88 times I was staging so.
I see.
Na Jesus Christ obo we asim kra no wo need how many times. Na yes say Ura Mahama and a promises. Na send onim no onye nipa foforo. Yenim no. What can be same way what can be that. In fact, the last time I checked, almost try something similar. Oh, NDC for Nisika there. Aya na omukama uyemu show. Ye krom ha ena nkrofobiko wu was it Senegal? Yaya Jame
Gambia.
Krom ho.
Gambia.
Ye ku omo em se nipa
44 Ghanaians.
Oh, the way nipa 7 bi asese a Gambia for no admit say no there. Soja for ku omo. To mo ma escase emfanye omo yi. Se sika no kromu di. Se sika ne de mo am so emfanye yi. Go parliament don call your accounts BBS. Some high national theater $15,000 a day. Carpet you say from your high $22,000 carpet you say from. Ya na chairman sabon to say but the money they gave is not in cedis, so it was dollars. So these are all dollars. Sancrofu in almost some bedding. Wow, a buying was share ye de bois jedifo. Any sabi ankran juma for a mon person mu ye juma. Sa krofokro we are venture capital trust fund so be kaya omu chesika no obakufo e man house boy e man house girl e man driver e be gisika no e che later ye chi omu no pa cho sampa onu amahama de ko si oso nya adwuma no disika no first ka no fa e de mo no ane ho ne yire ne mane ne ne chese obi obani bia ma nipa ne loan ni bi.
Is it
one duku, yes.
Yeah.
Se si American ya court mo agiatum se sika no wadi na mu betua. Yeah, almost turning down in Yamadi. Yeah. Okay. The same thing called Maslock. Or Baby said to me, Eko share or my loan and opa, and I don't know a fro. Sell loan near the mountain, and penny for sell loan in any say the mountain patcho, follow Nibra. No, I could share what 20 feet. What 500,000 Ghana cedis, not the syndicate boot poor. No, I could
come back to the account.
No, I could be. A dreadful what a mile almost shop as she was circle any a cantamanto. You trust case you say from where ma Sikanom de koi. Now we say ye be women's mind and woo. And this is for the Charlie. Look, these people they operate the devil's ministry. Ombe kabi big out a beg 200 1 year fast because they mean well on be this guy. Kakrom the venture capital and the Baslock. Say they don't have anybody's interest at that. Or why be that? And I'm here to see saying, Maslock, even a Jida, any Sada, then they buy. Nina, ye, and Yama, they bois businessmen and businesswomen. What happened? They shared all the Omom did decide they made in jail, me Sada boss go jail. Maslock boss said, Johnny, a venture capital patcho, so we're discarding a movie to ya.
Jida boss no coach.
Jida boss go jail. Maslock boss said, Johnny, to see how many will be your share. So Johnny almost
convicted.
Oh, in NDC for the day. Where they want power? Hey, so about for. No one power. It's Ghana for. Yes. The Nyama ye kind big things here, even in spite of the challenges we are going through and what those programs are even going through, we are doing them. In the face of the difficulties, Nyama ye kind
almost a president in Kasa
about the
elections near Kono.
So bad then.
Uti Johnson say doing
president on kind election ni ho. Isi on ka ho. And on ye IGP. And on ye PPR.
No appointed IGP.
Yes, but president appointed IGP. I no just say say uni hana IGP no COP asemi ba ye omo say president episode ye IGP entina oye ni oyi. Uni krom ha. You know, it's Sancrophone with them there, Master. President, oye Democrats to their core. President Ekufuado.
MPP will so hand you over willingly.
Of course. Why not? Of course, he will.
Which NDC for us more can say or hand you over to an NPP.
President is a Democrat and a politician. He stood on the ticket of the MPP. Oh, it's been General Kase. It is my wish. Say NDC ni MB winning. I may hand you over my NDC. You know, Muhammad Kranko Kasa. No politician will do that. When Rollins did that, he wasn't happy. It was his dream and his desire. Say you hand over to his successor. Or if you need party, and it's normal. So if the president expresses such a desire, I don't know why should you be worried? Nankonka say or expect to be hand you over my NDC ni and then come any beji. Okay, the president can say okay, me hand you over my NDC ni dia okay. No can so be hand you over my MPP is a problem. No. What the president has to do say he has to make sure say and nyama ese de to akwamuma elections na ye free and fair ye. And electoral commission for budget baby a befi bia so making sure mind you Ekufuado pen or elections without foreign money. Donor support. No, or no idea sika and or the elections. That same way you do it. Because the Biama Bibri or Ekufuado time, BC phone to examination fees, SS phone to examination fees, ultimate co school and could do from trainer for test series into your palm way about to say, Mount exams. It's the MPP NDC time Bibri school year Laboni Aquinas and Cropogina get the cheese soon. Namahamada. Masa, where do they any more? 2008. They did the same. 2007. They did the same thing. And the mom, they assume 4 good years. 4 good years. When until any moment, and I did a very
Ever work man?
Oh, no, can be.
I don't know, can be.
It would be a zero. One is as well.
Oh, there home.
Oh, is it?
Obefiana.
Oh, and any don't mean ma.
Oh, yeah.
Get no.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Make a can sama. Namco was it.
Opeda Casa.
Opeda Macasa.
And I'm can BBC president no bageria no beledia. And yes, no boyfriend no no kuno. We money poto.
And you kunu.
Oh, what's on you know about?
Minim dear.
Oh, yes.
Okoro nana.
And Okoro, so Nigeria you say Cameroon you.
President
NDC for call launch national campaign. Movement for change. Then I'm come.
Now in China, must be really be also a matter of concern. Ambulance, spare part, nobody ambulance.
It's also captured in Auditor General's report.
Yeah.
I think last week I've dealt with it in detail. Emunyefe.
My brother,
Omonyo
Urugumani. Nyakopan, Ombaji Ghana.
Now I was hoping said the management would, as it were, deny these allegations or reject the reports. But point after point they admit.
Oh yeah, Roho. I let to feel some Hurricane easy for one. I see for the MPP vote. Sika we are
ambulance asem na pese wo ka mama can be na me church mu na ne o
ambulance asem ne
na mu dia
only by way of introduction. Bibi
yeah.
Oh yeah, NDC waka launch one campaign.
Yeah.
Mo so we be awaye. MPP so be one even so be one so be yenze.
Nah, Momo launching a campaign.
Oh, yeah, launching campaign.
Oh, okay.
GTP na launch here.
Okay.
On there, we do the important things first. The most on the scale of preference, you know. And then maybe we hear since there maybe back a 4 months me akotwaba NDC on for manifesto mbe MPP 319 committee members to produce just a manifesto. Want to mean produce.
Even though you disagree with their manifesto.
I disagree.
And no problem
from by Mr. Alan Chamanton with his movement, what's in Cherry. We put together a plan, not a manifesto, something bigger than a manifesto, a plan. So was a Ghana Shanisema. Nyamana na obadwen most over your who name bibia the hope preocupe. That should tell you who is serious to solve our problem. And this yes, Mr. Sedun Katia ne call the president must speak. It's not just the speech. Okay. The president must show commitment.
To what?
Yet democracy, we need to sustain it. One way of sustaining democracy, on the free and fair elections.
Okay.
It is quite unfortunate there. If you speak to some of the MPP for some of them, even on political platform, some of the comments they make, they won't hand over. You want about 1 million way of winning an election. And some of Kano, I mean, if a Democrat, let's say, the way the tension that is between these two parties, you'll be worried. And see, as a father of the nation, no, what do baby you speak as a politician? Always you speak as a father of the nation. Yeah. And I'm just there, Mr. Shedun Katiano call, no. He's calling on him to speak as the father of the nation. Okay. There, baby, you do know. Sabi.
This is too early.
It's not too early. Nanche after 4 months election, I'm too early. Okay. Yes, it's a canon tama obobwa. No chelo biya za to do. That is the way the president wants the whole thing to go. Especially if you consider the fact that last election, Nyimpa 8 ukuwanen. Nyimpa 8 they had to shed the blood of 8 people before somebody could become president. After that, you know, nothing has been said about it. Nothing has been done about it. On which there, say, and start the Kasantama, potentially, you know, maybe them to Muisibio. It is a good call. Now, me there. Moving forward as a nation, I don't think the solution to our problem is with the political parties. It is with the leadership. They should lead one person to lead this country, not political partner. Until so at the time, to political parties which was in the last 32 years. Until you're the political party, you be said the is the president. Because if I could serve the interest of the party, and another is serving the interest of the party, that is why obey MP before I want to want rent done. MP before I want to want to kind of time, police are all cars and all mansions. Oh yes, papa. And why eat there? And you come to the next topic, the Ponzi scheme topic. I want to mention me as a bashenti. Even kasa ncha mo twan Ponzi scheme topic when I met to my church and some Ghana for Mosi MPP for operate Ponzi scheme in respect of the management of the economy. What say Matisse Ghana? Yen say si German.
Now, or can say MPP for management of the economy, and now say the way we have generally managed the economy.
There was an emphasis.
As being managed like a Ponzi scheme.
No, there was an emphasis. Okasa generally, but actually, if you read the statements in well, he was so much concerned about the way another party will manage the economy, and largely, no. Actually, the management now is indeed a Ponzi scheme. We've been changing most Ponzi scheme operates.
Yeah.
It's a chance to tell Daniel Bia.
Send it to Humbia.
Ponzi scheme.
Not yet, Humbi. I mean, the likes of Namu and Mona.
Dama a curious Oka doctor, but I want to do a Upper West DMK and DKM. When you know a Ponzi scheme. You know, Dr. campaign or not, a campaign member, yes, okay. Ponzi scheme in there. Oh, but he said, "What is in the guy who could DKM who could boost a Bunufo Poto."
And now talk about me account.
Campaign team member.
Who will be a picture one as well?
Sharing people. I told you we need to work a campaign.
That doesn't mean so.
Can work out him feel or can be. Baby, as he, oh man, can the cry in Canada, my man, way.
Let me quote the Honorable Kwaku, and I'm quoting portions of the statement. You know. Now, maybe I'm about 50 or no major answer.
Okay, now how you have 50?
Quote: we always offer higher interest to lenders, borrow more, use the part to repay previous debts, and the rest to pay for the current year's overspending, I should say. So we have been running our country's economy like a Ponzi scheme. The economy is struggling today because lenders are now refusing to lend to us. It is just like a Ponzi scheme going into crisis once people stop depositing their monies with them. So,
today, you emphasize today.
Yeah, but before today. So we have been running our country's economy like a Ponzi scheme. And he lists the things we have been doing over the years.
Then he came to today.
Yes. That's the emphasis. The economy is struggling today because lenders are now refusing to lend to us. It is just like a Ponzi scheme going into crisis once people stop depositing their monies with them. So, a Sonia, we can establish.
Yeah. But I'm saying, say, Okasa generally about the economy from the long term. That's what we are complaining about.
Say, you're managing economy need to say a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
And yes. It is not just about Omo era.
No. Baby,
I want share again.
You have a share. You have a share.
No, NDC no one manage economy in them. Because in the last 2 years, when one manage economy.
Why?
Bibi, in the last 2 years, when one manage economy.
Because
but the emphasis was on the
Honorable Kweku Kwatin. You know, this is not the first time or can afa na na adodam kwa Baumia administration when omofaso edi manage economy. This is not the first time. Is he not the one OT finance committee he has said so many things, and he will put everything he has said in perspective. Then you realize he's not talking even about previous government, he's talking about his own people.
I'm doing this echo in Abamodo.
And the money they remember
about Dubiuma.
Vivi, we should be worried. Maybe the way this country is being run, we should be worried.
Tell me about it.
If for nothing at all, this ambulance issue, fact, no answer. Who Papa? Baby, the ambulance, yakoto de sabi nkofu yar.
What is this scheme na okay?
Baba, my car semester samado, baby. Now just kana ambulances or economy is can be Arabia.
Yeah, but you can't how the economy has been run as in the description of Koku Kwatin.
Until I'm a cadenche, the Sikana kaji, Busana Cobon. Says he as a papa nyane sebi or your president neba nyon kunti na nje what that ski was so mana. I mean just about think about it. $10 million. Yeah. Company I want unregistered.
Well, registered but not incorporated.
Yes, on ye juma. Answer over ye juma nankasa no. One man 10 million. So sourcing. One man 10 million there. Na say a quarter spare part abay ambulance. And that spare parts a quarter no boy as ambulance kura. Baby. Nje mom change spare part and quarter ambulance for. Nje mo nya park ni nya sinje and quarter ambulance for. These are issues are always say your money. Or say you can. Because we be no fit the way you too. Nche pede book you can once am I complain down yan kwal.
Ochi hini say nya no kre.
Bibi o mbia we si. Nipa ko cho book o de ko hwen. No but your Ghana story man how to develop. Messi oh yes she. Nipa cho da ma ejepede book ni. Dem e bibia book mo receipt pepeperen. Yanka for no but your Ghana yan development story man. So that no so we see because so easy this coincidence this fiction easy oh you papa Bibi
oh sorry I was asking him to do that sorry
Chama come asem mem odu be dia o de kase de Ghana nyi ye time no de odu be kase nti Bibi Ponzi scheme asemi Shabusa ye pro we Kenofrata na da Roma na later bank at Roma. Bosa ya pro Ghana. Ya bobusa masisala, hono bo bosa was ya mo bosa bio. Intisala them upon this scheme. First one was the money there. They entice people. First, more than 50 people, 1% on interest. That was the entice. Into one mauzi on Vienna was the entice domina. Nezika kasero wan kasa why then why shall they release this can the same thing MPP will manage this economy.
Okay.
Mama more typical example. Shede Mosi wa uhia abagana. Cost of living nkofuntumunto. Nkofun akotua. Bosom ontumun ntwop bosom no mufampo. Na ekogoma is 5 million npontumunto hwe. Why you dem ewien na wa mo free SHS. Upon this time now. Until time ya watch why you in free SHS no do. One chwa you in a how na erukomu no do. Same thing you there. Say Emma
na me call how mo agisa ban twema dwen sisu ansa na me hu say no.
Until our come o say ben wants work free SHS. Ebe ehun there say awo ba go school free ya. Forgetting there say twem ka oye. Na sanzama no bugwa. Ncha meja akotua na say moto aza make savings. Na say meet him halfway in so mo say aboa na mo so makada mo so mo twem mo ba no school fees. That's how Ponzi schemes operate. Okay. And that is exactly what they are doing. They are taking the lion's share. I mean, first class is ala nancy 30 figures and all ya 30. O shi champagne na azi obugu a politank na azi. Na miskeni na no one waffle. But small little no mo a free SHS time na work one's in one kada. And that is what is killing this country. And that is why some of us are saying the baby you know. And send them in Zemanua. NDC and MPP one in our brain. Eshe sisala one in our brain. Unjin and chan. Na fun kabuma ba masala nchama tin kabuma ba ne fam ba na magana ntumpo. I know here sisia. What could is on your cry?
Now talk to me.
Yeah, baby. Wow.
Me who is this okay?
Kweku, I've said a lot about the economy under MPP. Obekai in parliament. Or can say Abai Ajibusian, and the Bosnian no Mujino. And no lady Abedru Bibia, Yedrusia, Kweku Kratin Ekai. Kweku Kratin Su Ekai somewhere in 2022. That Abai Jibusian Edia Tuya salaries. Ewo Maimo. So the Ponzi scheme or cano, it is not say or is referring to all governments because government beaba omuji sika omudi yempuntu ejuma who you benefit from it. Abai apart from this year, make us say election years, or one who say Ghana for demand say they should show accountability. Omunchire the omudi scanner, you know, omuni nam say, oh, yeah, agenda one, who saw my baby. Oh, yeah, road being a one who saw my way. Road being a one way, a woman.
Botema road on my.
Oh, Minya, Botema road, Nipa in there, Faso. No, maybe so.
That's all my.
Yeah, can road, Botema road being on my. Mimi, who Botema road be a. Walk of Botema. A kind of Missy walk of Botema, me no road. Mimi who ye. Baby, I mean one. A Botiano English, a man from. Me no road back wall. And see, Ponzi scheme my year canoe. When somebody is operating Ponzi scheme, more Mudi Musika, Emmanuel, you lose money. This year, yeka, abey. Ghana for you haven't you lost money? Musika na Mudi ma abey. Katabesu. Even foreigners or Musika or Mudi ma no. Katabesu. And they say, or can say a Ponzi scheme. That is the meaning. Ponzi scheme, what do we seek out to? I will lose seek. To say DKM, Nipe audio, Mochi, Niba, Omia, baby, or Befabia, or no, enemy. DKM, almost a mamma dear. But then, Ghana for who said DKM,
say Lordina.
May see DKM, almost a mamma dear. And now Yanika say, Yanim baby at DK, Nipano or free. DKM, or Moonim baby free. Say, see, Amuna Mooning and I'm a campaign. That is how. NPP omusuban eti enti kweku kratin die owomu pe onim omusuban okay time Ken overata ye na free ho no so ze ye interview kweku kratin ya na bisa no say na den say o omudi mami o ba me si mi pe because onim baby omudi ya akose no enya de obetumi aye bibia ye be free amuna na omwa edi akoshem enti menya abeyi omwa se Ghana poto omwa se ye economy ni poto Ponzi scheme no when the Ponzi scheme no say influx no ejaya you suffer enti dia na ye hom sesia people have lost their money. Ghanaians are suffering because it cannot be any obium. Ubekai Abeba Ebe Transno in 2017, the first loan on Mukoji, is it Franklin Tefferton? The salon that $2.25 billion no Mukoji, that was the beginning. And to Mukoji, then they saw up our reserve. Now Masi did not have to say a one. Every year, bia omuji sasika no by 2020 no maji bosia almost about $13 billion just to support the economy. And Ponzi for no sa no musubanti o ojiwa ha no their support to ha or kojiwa ha no their support to ha so that you will not know. By the time nkrofo or money bebe or muhu no mbeka say hey ye pay sika no na asemo aba.
Happy FM.
That is exactly how this economy under Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia are running the economy. And media, they are here coming and they say these people, when it comes to competence of managing, they have no idea. Even Bawumia now more can't say, oh, Bawumia economics on him economic on him she say you see economy. Bawumia has no idea. Even maybe me who the thesis no more bia or yeah social sciences.
That's unfair.
Because Myanmar okay about economy no there na bem. Or see
mobile phone.
When the fundamentals
question the economic policies
recently
and he has no idea.
His because
in so how do you say he has no idea?
He has no idea because say what do you mean ba Obekache say good for oil and okay good for oil though say prices of fuel beba from because of the innovation be aba your friend go for it and for an saying
the position of the CDT.
So these are Ponzi people managing our economy. That is all that they know how to do.
That's it. Mobile phone. Vivi, mobile phone was saying 1 month, 1 city 1 month is. How do you respond to all of this?
Some culture say Crawford we no money more ya dia so sure hu ye. Why he be do omachia on service from so be any paboni. Topic ni cry ya topic no.
Topic ben.
Topic adi man.
Na start ya work ka ma
say ba mi aka topic no.
We am the fire.
Yeah, can for economy no. When I need the economic leader.
Ma ko kan ye no. O hwe City FM our interview now. Sikweku Kwati, member of parliament for Obuasi West and spokesperson on the economic committee, has attributed Ghana's economic crisis to decades of bad policies and economic mismanagement by past and present governments. In an opinion piece, Mr. Kwatin said, Ghana's economy is being run like a Ponzi scheme. The economic problems Ghana is facing today at both national level and households are also the cumulative effects of many decades of spanning different governments of the bad politics and economic mismanagement that have characterized the governance of our country. As someone like Kwatin can last time say since Kwame Nkrumah time, you pass a budget now. Yeah, Parliament approve budget now. Near the budget now, I could pay dollars because Ghana hano you need bibia a million dollars in huge chunk than the loan. The exports are no bank and even it's in the hands of the foreigners. You go there, you go there where you so abrofu need to into two no or export to no $1 billion or the 30% peneba to run his own operations. Niaka no or the good crew because or the loan or then or the oil the same thing. Gold the same thing. Bibia timber ikrampo and we try ikra cocoa cry the west.
Lithium ikra yenye ikra.
The same thing. The only thing is that this time lithium no ya insist say you process waha into finished product and sanako. Into no there ebema we na higher. And then no so you share well, investment fund.
Or say the share value of lithium worldwide are dropping significantly because you see lithium you countries be brave and now there is an alternative to lithium competing with lithium. We have to be measured with the way I rely our expectation.
But that way, me abrofo so much is true now from because it could be one of the employees just to force countries
if that is the case, it is verifiable knowledge.
Yes.
You lithium or baby, I will be to me because you baby.
You understand me?
Yes.
But I can tell you say.
Sembe krenia. Memoir me here on one.
What did you say when you wasn't going come here with
Intino the say.
Yeah.
Abribiano ye kwaji loan. Any dia dollars are. Sebi ye debe talk fuel mpo abagana ama obi ayiso. Your consumption of fuel in a month no kra no amount of money ye dey to fuel no. Bibie no where this is can buy in a month.
Yeah.
BBN who are exporting $240 million monthly, but we do $240 million every day for olive oil. And some of the four Mukraniama Musoko almost dollars every fee.
Who promises some of FX cinema?
Yes, Bibi, Sanema, it doesn't take a day. And she has to say
after 7 years. No, 50 men to market it doesn't take a day. After 7 good years,
about time.
Who at Pafato baby at Tiara? You wish I have to be a charity with a canamide. Why had you? Near TN say, yes, Rome was not built in a day.
No, correct.
Factories are a per year export. No, some of them are still in their 13 age stage. And kakran, and Chia say, I think on Friday, now in Nanam Yajan to our
yeah.
And Wokachen and said there are 14 car assembly plants. And other than Crawford, that's a second hand cars. I was so surprised. Cars no mo yewa hano. yeah, they call parliament. Say you restricted the importation of second-hand cars. See, they are when you bring markets waha no matter because first and foremost, unto your duty or car so. It was just $90,000 or 90,000 cities. Normally Ubano. It was just 100,000 cities. No. What I say?
Nasaka we are 100,000 cities.
Yes, Polo. It's VW Polo.
Yeah.
It's just assembled in Ghana and it's so cheap.
To assemble a vehicle, that small vehicle in Ghana, and to buy it for about $100,000.
Yes. And yet dollars, cities, we see 90,000 cities.
Yeah, but the what?
90,000 cities.
1 billion old Ghana cities. That's expensive.
Now Toyota Corolla is saying.
I know they say
10 years Toyota Corolla is saying.
And also duty also. Duty
yes.
Also.
And until that is why say you can't compare Toyota to a VW car, German car. What I say? Into no senkofono as you are scaling up, no money economies of scale, no, it will come down. What I say? But you go ye nyanma mpene ema amem. Sa nyama we no ye de call parliament.
One fashion yanko. Enye no na mo de call parliament.
Fifi kasa. Emre naso.
Wow, intino sa nyama we no kakran. E be take time and sana mature. Obi timi bisa say 1D1F na musum ye no. Then na debe na mo ye wo Ghana ha as a result of 1D1F ye ja importation. It can't happen overnight. People have developed some kind of taste and preferences for certain goods. It will take time.
Now you are not working on it.
We are.
How?
You can't do when you put me in there by force. So we are what you say? Kakra. As you saturate the markets, no. And don't a policy woman. It's policy near woman. Policy near woman. What the policy need very restrict the importation of certain goods. Now local goods need every rema. People automatically develop.
You read something, but you have not spoken to it.
Fifth understands the economy more than Dr.
The military say, and I'm church them. The military say,
from run the
economy. One can say, was it decades of what I say? But as usual and typical of these people, no, or because any of the ending can say, your patch say, Abribiano, your bond markets, any international markets now. You are ready to take the load at any rate. And it's on record. The NDC, it's on record. NDC took the loan with the highest bank percentage. The highest rate ever under NDC.
The data bank percentage is
they did loan for 1%.
But we never defaulted.
Oh, because you didn't have any problem. There was no external shocks.
What our economy is open to the externalities. It has always been there. What are you telling me? In 2004 to 2015, do you know the difficulties that the NDC administration went at that time? What are you talking about? At that time, no, the global issues, not NSA. The gold. No, the gold was falling. The price of gold was falling. The price of crude oil was falling. For so many months. A buyer
No, this is not friendly.
But you seem to understand the economics more than whatever.
No, you are not ready because if you are with
the already kwaku statement. And now all chirichirimu. And an answer when they say,
we don't be a spokesperson for
decades.
And this DPP now. That's the meaning of what is
saying. Wrap up.
Patrol, boys will me back as I'm why this I did a quick quoting person share say, and yet net. Over time.
But a simple person break it in a
we have to change the norm. Yes, a running system.
But it is not too late for this to
it's
come.
Not even easy to do it. But
it is too late.
No, we have a plan. We have a plan for it. Great transformational plan by Mr. Lenchamanton.
Mate, what you say?
I like about also why no Bank of Ghana that we don't have to take a loan to develop Ghana. That is why Ghanaians voted for him. And now 2016.
The country is hot.
Hungry man say fix the country. Belle fool say fix yourself.
Why you drink?
Boys, yes, my time and you
almost is you. Next time we'll bet you boys. Next time we'll bet you.
Say, I'm in some end.
That's all about for Kwana and Nakape.
No, bro, I bet you Makunya. Mammy Casa first because I'm
but I'm sure I'm before, sir. Oh, I bear Mutin. It's your winning area. I'm not waiting my response. Asemo.
Where's he? Never been
You also heard Alexander Akokun, and you heard the man Ebo Bokman. Omunyina wear solar panels, and so when you know the who and then solar panels. Me hu ne dia fifi de bia na ehwan e hyan umpe fitaro umpe de me ni ju hu okay me epie mi timu dia nka bia nka me mpe ba be epie me me da se amuso so umpe so gbe kipu abodwe se so adai de yomo de live ben bibi some coming from message so to no ma ko ne hu adwuno mo ho a e ba oba shop sa My name is Bismark Brown. Many thanks to you, gentlemen. Thanks to my team as well. Many thanks to Dr. Kwabena Donko. May the OBBR say to the team, we are grateful. In fact, I am grateful. Set me was such a solid team behind me. Frank Kafo, Joel Sanko, Renaud Ajiman, Abi and Thelma, Salome, also doing the photo shoot on the side. And so Isaac Ade, Kodjose Fadamka, Fatih Shaibu Ali, and the man himself, the simple man. That I must say. Up next, sports.
We live like cops in a bar.